Chapter 1380. I won't talk about the unimportant members of the evil god Fire Palace. If it's the Empyrean realm, there are more than 1,000 of them. These are the members who can rush over in the vicinity of the evil god Fire Palace. Lin Xian nodded. There are about 300 people in the higher void stage. Are they all in the Shao family? Lin Xian asked. No, although the Shao family is the headquarters of the evil god Fire Palace. How could all these people be in the Shao family? Some of the people in the nearby Shao family's businesses are also here. There is a huge space under the Shao family, and that is the real evil god Fire Palace. It is very, very big. Lin Xian nodded. What about the Heavenly Dao? I'm not sure about the Heavenly Dao, but there might be. Might. Amen. The Hall Master of the evil god Fire Palace might be the Heavenly Dao. It's also possible for the Great Clan Elder, but the others definitely aren't. This is what I know a few years ago, and it doesn't include the Shao family. Lang Wuxin said. It's not easy. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. These experts aren't many, but they aren't few either. With the capital of the three great forces, they can easily deal with them. However, the more difficult thing is, the Shao family is in the downtown area. If a battle of this level were to break out, and if the Heavenly Dao were to be involved, the destruction of the commoners would be unimaginable. Bai Xian said. Lin Xian nodded. Amen. As long as I have an idea in my heart, I will go over and take a look when the time comes. You're going over? They all looked at Lin Xian in surprise. Lin Xian took a sip of wine and grinned. Right now, I am a member of the evil god Fire Palace. The two girls. Did you meet one of them? Lin Xian nodded his head. Furthermore, they ate the poison pill, but they definitely would not have thought that the poison pill's poison had already been cured by me, yet they were extremely confident that they had already controlled my life and death. Lang Wuxin secretly shook his head. The evil god Fire Palace was definitely going to be destroyed by this Lin Xian. It was truly an unwise choice for the evil divine palace to provoke him. But, who would have thought? Lin Xian then looked at Lang Wuxin and said, Don't even think about telling anyone. The poison pill in your body is similar to the one you ate from the evil fiend hall. If you have any thoughts of rebellion, you'll die as well. Bai Xian said to Lin Xian, recently, Wu Xian has contributed a lot to the Azura Palace. Lang Wuxin said nothing. Forget it. We'll talk about it later. I'm going back first. Lin Xian pinched Bai Xian's butt and ran off with a mischievous smile. Bastard! Bai Xian gritted her teeth. By the way, why are you willing to be his woman? Lang Wuxin asked this question for the first time. Why? Bai Xian was stunned for a moment, and then she smiled and said, It can be considered a trade, right? A deal? He saved my grandfather. In return, I choose to follow him. I see. His medical skills are amazing. Lang Wuxin had to admit. Yeah, he solved a problem that the entire continent couldn't solve. The demon race's virus, my grandfather's illness, and the poison pill from the evil fiend hall. I really don't know where he learned all these from at such a young age. Pass it on. Lang Wuxin said. Other than passing it on, I can't explain anything else. Let's eat. Uncle Murong. On the other side, Lin Xian returned home. He didn't go to Linglong Shui's place because Lin Xian had other things to do. Little Xian, what's the matter? Murong Feng was chatting with Lin Xian through a video call. He looked at Lin Xian with a smile. Murong, you happen to be standing behind Murong Feng. She was brewing tea, and she looked like she was cultivating her character. Murong Yu's light blue eyes glanced at Lin Xian, but she didn't walk over. Yes, it's about the evil fiend hall. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Murong Feng's expression became serious. He looked around and looked at Murong Yu. Little Yu, go and close the door. Okay. Murong Yu closed the door. Some of the girls came back with Lin Xian, but Murong Yu followed Murong Feng back to the Murong family. After all, she would be leaving for 3 months, so she decided to accompany her family. What happened? Murong Feng looked at Lin Xian. Your daughter knows about it too. Morong Fong glanced at Morong Yu. Morong Yu then said, "Before we left the Sky Martial continent, we met people from the Evil Fiend Hall and ate their poison pill." What? Hearing Morong Yu's words, Morong Fong shouted out. "But father, don't worry, the poison pill's poison was cured by Lin Xian." What? In a few seconds, Morong Fong was shocked twice. Then, Morong Fong looked at Lin Xian in shock. "Lin Xian, you can cure the poison of the Evil Fiend Hall's poison pill?" he asked in disbelief. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, it was cured. Morong Fong was stunned. The matter that the entire continent couldn't do anything about was solved by Lin Xian? But thinking about it, this wasn't the first time. This brat, what kind of existence was he? "Lin Xian, the temple is willing to pay any price to obtain the formula for the antidote." Lin Xian smiled and said, "No problem, but there's no need to pay any price. If I do something that benefits the human race, I'll be able to accumulate some merit." Morong Fong looked at Lin Xian in shock, but he still hadn't calmed down. "When the time comes, I'll send the formula to Morong Yu, and Morong Yu will give it to you." "Okay." Morong Fong nodded excitedly. This kind of thing really made people excited beyond imagination. The poison pill was gone, which was equivalent to the Evil Fiend Hall's 8 legs being broken. "But I want to talk about another matter now." "Speak." Morong Fong looked at Lin Xian. "The people from the Evil Fiend Hall didn't expect me to be able to cure this poison. Therefore, in the eyes of the people from the Evil Fiend Hall, Morong Yu, Ling Ying, and the others are members of the Evil Fiend Hall." Morong Fong nodded. "The Evil Fiend Hall is located in the Chengdu Shao family." "What? The Shao family is the Evil Fiend Hall?" Lin Xian shook his head. "No, the Shao family is the headquarters of the Evil Fiend Hall. The Shao family is a member of the Evil Fiend Hall." Humph. Morong Fong clenched his fists. His eyes flashed with anger. "After a while, I will go to the Evil Fiend Hall. At that time, I will think of a way to find out some information about the Evil Fiend Hall and bring out evidence. The rest will be left to Uncle Morong." "Don't worry. It's enough for you to do this. Leave the rest to us." Lin Xian nodded. Wait. Morong Fong suddenly thought of something, looked at Lin Xian and said, "Lin Xian, do you want to play a bigger game of chess?" Lin Xian looked at Morong Fong. Morong Fong lit a cigarette, then stood up and slowly paced back and forth. "The Evil Fiend Hall is one of the 5 great halls of the Evil Fiend Hall. The real powerful one is the real Evil Fiend Hall, and you have the opportunity to explore the location of the Evil Fiend Hall. Just the Evil Fiend Hall alone is not enough. If we can find the Evil Fiend Hall..." Lin Xian understood Morong Feng's meaning. "But they want my art pavilion group. I'm F***king losing so much." Chapter 1381. The Xian Group's assets were truly unimaginable. Their appetites might be relatively small at the beginning, but their appetites would definitely get bigger and bigger later on. Furthermore, to the Xian Group, they might want 5% or 10% of the shares, but you couldn't imagine how much 10% of the Xian Group shares were worth. Although it was indeed beneficial to the continent, but Morong Fong coughed dryly and said, "It's like this. During this period of time, all of the Evil Fiend Shrine's requests for the Xian Group will be compensated by the 3 major powers." Lin Xian's eyes lit up. "That's fine." Morong Yu helplessly sighed behind him. This Lin Xian. Morong Fong felt that Lin Xian would definitely be put in an important position by the Evil Fiend Shrine. With his background, his talent, and the #1 in the Sky Martial Assembly, he would definitely be put in an important position. In the future, he would definitely become an important person in the Evil Fiend Shrine. Unless the people in the Evil Fiend Shrine were idiots, they would definitely go and nurture Lin Xian. This Lin Xian was an existence that even the 3 major powers wanted to fight over. However, Morong Fong looked at Lin Xian and said, "It's like this. Because the Xian Group's technology is not below the continent, I'm worried that the Evil Fiend Shrine might want to borrow some of the Xian group's abilities to research and develop some things. Do you understand what I mean? Lin Xian nodded and said, Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I believe you. I'll leave the Evil Fiend Shrine to you. Lin Xian smiled and said, Don't forget that your daughter is also a member of the Evil Fiend Shrine. Murong Feng glanced at Murong Yu behind him and said with a smile, She won't be more important than you. Although Xiao Yu is backed by the temple, the Evil Fiend Shrine is actually afraid of letting her do anything. Because the Evil Fiend Shrine also knows what kind of existences are in the temple. They are also worried that they will be exposed. Lin Xian nodded and said, Then I'll hang up first. I have to sleep. Good night. Good night. Lin Xian smiled and said, I'll tell your daughter. Murong Feng, Murong Yu, Lin Xian then hung up the video call. Murong Feng rubbed his temples and looked at his daughter. Little Yu. Dad. Murong Yu very politely looked at Murong Feng. When we reach the God's Awakening door, if possible, it's best to stay with Lin Xian. Murong Feng said. I'll walk by myself, Murong Yu said. Murong Feng shook his head and said, This little brat is not simple. He has a lot of luck on his body. If you travel with him, it might actually be safer. You might even obtain more opportunities. Murong Yu was silent. If it's possible, it's best to go with him. Although the God's Awakening door is a place where one can obtain good fortune through praying, it's also a very dangerous place. Protecting yourself is the most important thing. Murong Yu nodded. I know. I will follow him if I can. Also, cultivate your relationship. Murong Feng smiled and said, Murong Yu, the relationship between the two of them, other than Ling Ying and the other girls, no one else knew. However, Murong Feng was simply becoming more and more satisfied with Lin Xian. He had the urge to become this brat's father-in-law. Although Murong Feng knew about the relationship between Lin Xian, Ling Ying, and Han Chuxue, there was only one Lin Xian. He was indeed very outstanding. If his daughter liked him, he wouldn't mind. Dad. Murong Feng smiled and rubbed Murong Yu's sky-blue hair. Although there are some things that I know, there is only one Lin Xian. If you like him, Dad will support you. Your mom will definitely support you as well. This world, as time passes, it will become more and more like a world where the strong are respected. When that time comes, rules and laws will become more and more useless. Moreover, Lin Xian has a divine body like you. You two are the most compatible. Murong Yu didn't say anything. She only nodded slightly. Seeing his daughter nod, Murong Feng seemed to have guessed something. After half a year in the divine realm, they should have cultivated a lot of feelings. It was quite good. Go and rest. There is no harm in bringing more equipment to the God's Awakening door. Although I don't know what is inside the God's Awakening door, it must be a secret realm or a small world. Understood. On the other side, Lin Xian was lying in his house with nothing to do. It was so boring. Bing Lingyue also didn't come back. He didn't know if she would come back tonight. Maybe she would stay at Ling Long Shue's place. How was he going to spend the night? There were so many girls there. Lin Xian was afraid of going there, especially when Huang Shi was there. He would rather not sleep at night without girls. Damn. I have so many girls and I can't find one to sleep with? Lin Xian looked around. Was it Luo Chenxi or Bai Xianxian? Or Lang Wuxin? As for the other girls, he wouldn't touch them first. Time to find Bai Xianxian. Lin Xian went to the Azura Palace again. Bai Xianxian and Lang Wuxin had just finished supper and came back from the night market. They were sitting in the courtyard, enjoying the wind and chatting while looking at the stars. Then, Lin Xian came. Why are you here again? Bai Xianxian looked at Lin Xian in surprise. I want to spend the night with you. Lin Xian smiled and walked over. Bai Xianxian. Lang Wuxin heard this and quickly got up to leave. Where are you going? Lin Xian glanced at her. Rest. Lang Wuxin said calmly. Go take a shower. I will find you later. Lang Wuxin. She didn't say anything and left. Bai Xianxian glanced at Lin Xian. No matter what, she is a girl and she is very arrogant. You are too much, Bai Xianxian said to Lin Xian. Damn. If I had been soft-hearted, I would have been killed by her. Bai Xianxian understood this. After spending some time together, she felt that Lang Wuxi was quite good. She was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Let's go take a shower. What are you doing? Aren't you going to find her? Bai Xianxian glanced at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled evilly and hugged her slim waist. Let's go together. Bai Xianxian. Damn. This scumbag. Bastard. Hee, since you said that I am a bastard, I will definitely be a bastard in front of you. Let's go. Then, Lin Xian carried her and ran to the room. Bai Xianxian. When Lin Xian brought Bai Xianxian to Lang Wuxin's room, Lang Wuxin, who had just taken a shower, was stunned. She frowned. This Lin Xian, it was not the first time he forced himself on her. Now, he even brought Bai Xianxian in. What was he doing? Chapter 1382. Lin Xian looked at Lang Wuxin, who had her hair draped over her shoulders. To be honest, this woman was indeed top-notch. Go take a shower. Lin Xian slapped Bai Xuanxuan's butt. Bai Xuanxuan's face flushed red. Bastard. She gritted her teeth. Go. If you don't go, I'll do you on the spot. Lin Xian glared at her. Bai Xianxian glared at Lin Xian, then walked into the bathroom helplessly. Lin Xian then looked at Lang Wuxin and sat on the edge of her bed. Lin Xian glanced at Lang Wuxin, but she didn't look at Lin Xian. She was very angry. This person was really an animal. She couldn't do anything, but why was Bai Xianxian so obedient to him? Oh right, Bai Xianxian had told her that they were more likely to be lovers in the past. How do you feel here? Lin Xian patted the edge of the bed beside her. Lang Wuxin acted as if she didn't see it. She stood there and said indifferently, "It's all right." Compared to your previous life? Lin Xian asked. It's better now. Lang Wuxin said. This was indeed the truth. Previously, she couldn't even live a normal life. She even had a lot of pressure. But now, she realized that she didn't have any pressure. Every day was so easy and comfortable. Although she didn't have any cultivation during this period, she was exceptionally relaxed. Then stay here from now on, Lin Xian said. We'll talk about it later, Lang Wuxin said indifferently. Lin Xian patted his leg. She glanced at it and acted as if she didn't see it. Lin Xian chuckled, then slightly released his power. Lang Wuxin's figure disappeared on the spot and sat on Lin Xian's lap. But you're still not very obedient. Lin Xian's hands started to move. Lang Wuxin gritted her teeth. Although she had been with Lin Xian several times, but when Bai Xianxian walked out of the bathroom, she gaped at the scene before her. This Lin Xian is simply a beast. The next morning, Lin Xian opened his eyes and yawned. The two long-legged beauties were sleeping soundly. Lin Xian sat up and stretched. I can't take it anymore. When he completely retired in the future, there would be so many beautiful girls around him. How would he be able to handle all of them? He couldn't withstand it at all right? Bai Xianxian's long eyelashes trembled slightly before she opened her beautiful eyes and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian glanced at her, then smiled and said, I'll go make breakfast for you. Soon, 3 large bowls of seafood noodles were served by Lin Xian. Bai Xianxian had already woken up. Lang Wuxin was still wearing her pajamas, but she opened her eyes when she smelled the scent. Let's eat. Bai Xianxian casually put on a loose set of pajamas. She didn't even have pants on. Then, she got up and sat down to eat the seafood noodles. Lang Wuxin, on the other hand, was dressed neatly and walked over. When she tasted the noodles made by Lin Xian, she couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. The taste was so good that it had completely exceeded her imagination. Are you going to stay in Lin and City for this period of time? Bai Xianxian asked Lin Xian. Lin Xian, no, I'm going to the Wind Nation immediately. I have some matters to attend to. When I come back, I'll probably go to the God's Awakening door. When I come out, I should be in the virtual realm. Bai Xianxian said. Yes, definitely. As long as I can raise my cultivation level in the God's Awakening door, I'll definitely be in the virtual realm. Lin Xian. Bai Xianxian was also quite shocked. In this short period of time, he had improved so much. Lang Wuxin just sat there and ate her noodles without saying a word. Who are you going with? Bai Xianxian asked. In any case, I'm not going with you. Lin Xian grinned. Bai Xianxian. Then, she kicked Lin Xian's leg. After eating, Lin Xian, Zhao Yunqi, Lu Yufan, Miao Xiao Miao, Yi Yi, Zi Qiue, and Xin, and Lan Xingxing, who had already returned, played for a day and a night. On the second day, Lin Xian accompanied Linglong Shui and the others. Huang Shi also didn't leave. On the third day, Lin Xian played with Ling Ying and the others. 3 days later, it was also the time that Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan agreed to meet. After all, they didn't know how long they would stay in the Wind Nation. So it was better to leave early. And the one who was suffering was the evil god Hole. Mothuf *Ker? Uf *King played for 3 days in Lin and City. Why didn't you come to the evil god Fire Hall? Those people from the evil god Fire Hall were furious. But they couldn't do anything. Who asked their evil god Fire Hall master to give them some time and to maintain a good relationship with Lin Xian for the time being. Early in the morning, Lin Xian patted Wu Yuhan's butt and woke her up. That's right, last night Lin Xian played with Ling Ying, Han Chuxue and the others. Wu Yuhan was naturally there too. After playing, everyone left. Lin Xian told Wu Yuhan that they would go to the Wind Nation together the next day, so he asked her to come back. Who asked the one who controlled the body last night to be the elder sister Wu Yunuo. So, Lin Xian finally met this woman for the first time. Moreover, this Wu Yunuo was simply an expert at tricking girls. After kissing Lin Xian, when Lin Xian wanted to do something to her, she gave the control of the body to the cold Wu Yuhan. Lin Xian was happy to do so. He liked cold the most. Wu Yuhan opened her beautiful eyes and glanced at Lin Xian, then turned her head away. Hey, it's 6 o'clock. Our flight is at 8 o'clock. Get lost. Wu Yuhan scolded in annoyance. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. She was very angry. This Lin Xian was a beast. Cough cough. I'll go make breakfast for you. Lin Xian smiled awkwardly, then got up and walked away. Wu Yuhan opened her beautiful eyes. What's wrong? You like him and you're not happy? Wu Yunuo's voice sounded in her mind. Try it and see. Wu Yuhan gritted her teeth. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian had breakfast last night. Wu Yuhan had already washed up and dressed. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Lin Xian's noodles, then she sat down and ate them in small bites. Lin Xian realized that all the girls liked to eat his noodles because they were indeed delicious. Especially Lan Xingxing the day before. When she ate Lin Xian's delicious noodles, she was so touched that tears flowed down her cheeks. By the way, regarding the matter of reconstructing the body, I asked yesterday. Lin Xian looked at Wu Yuhan and said. To be precise, he was saying this for Wu Yunuo. That's right. Linglong Shui had many experts at her side. All of them were at the Heavenly Tao Realm or the Great Void Realm. They were knowledgeable and were practically invincible. Therefore, Lin Xian had asked them and received an accurate answer. What did they say? Wu Yuhan looked up at Lin Xian and asked. It's possible. The method to reconstruct the body isn't difficult. They can do it, but the difficult part is finding the heaven and earth spiritual items needed to reconstruct the body. Lin Xian. What do they need? Wu Yuhan asked. She wanted to get Wu Yunuo out of her body as soon as possible. It was too annoying. Chapter 1383. Lin Xian knew that Wu Yuhan was helpless. Logically speaking, if it wasn't for her sister, Lin Xian really didn't know how to take down Wu Yuhan. Just leave whatever you need to me. They will also search for it. It's just that some are especially hard to find. When the time comes, we might have a chance to find it in the God's Awakening Door. If the heaven and earth spiritual power in the God's Awakening Door is higher than in our continent, then it's easier to give birth to stronger spiritual items. Wu Yuhan nodded. She also knew that even if she knew what it was, she wouldn't be able to help. Then, I'll have to trouble you, Wu Yuhan said. Lin Xian glanced at her and smiled. We're already an old married couple. You're still saying thank you to me? Wu Yuhan. She turned her head to the side. Let's go. Let's go. I don't know how many days we'll be in Feng Empire. The sooner the better. Then, the two of them changed into simple clothes and set off for the airport. Ling Ying and the rest were very unhappy. They also wanted to go. Why didn't he bring them along? In Lin Xian's words, the things they were going to do this time would be more secretive and low-key. They would try their best not to get into a conflict. They were going there to fork over some things, not to get into a fight. Then Ling Ying and the rest expressed that they couldn't go over to play. They weren't going with them. Then, they were rejected by Lin Xian. God knows what happened in Feng Empire. Lin Xian didn't dare to let them go and let them stay in Lin and city to play. So in the end, only Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan went to Feng Empire. The two got on the plane and flew to Feng Country. The flight to Feng Country took about a day, but the two booked a first-class cabin, the kind with a bed, and it was similar to a private room. Only the two of them were in an exquisite room about 20 square meters. Speaking of which, how much do you know about Feng family and Chu family? Lin Xian laid on the bed and waved at Wu Yuhan, who was sitting there. Wu Yuhan knew what Lin Xian was asking about. She suspected the Feng family and Chu family who killed her Wu family back then. It wasn't just suspicion, she already investigated a lot of things. She wasn't sure about the Feng family, but she was very sure about the Chu family. Otherwise, when she saw Chu Feng and Chu He, why was she unable to control her anger? Wu Yuhan zest. I've told you that the Feng family and Chu family are famous assassins' families. That night, the Feng and Chu family are famous assassins' families. That night, from my sister's memories, and the Chu family, S. That night, the family S. The families the Chu family, us S's. As for the Feng family, Wu Yuhan said, I'm not sure. My sister said that night, there were clearly two people with very different, bodily martial skills. However, she couldn't remember the second one clearly. She said it was definitely not inferior to the Chu families, and only the Feng family could compete with the Chu families. However, because she couldn't remember clearly, I can't be sure whether it was the Feng family or not. However, I'm sure it was the Chu family. However, I lack evidence. Also, I want to know why. Lin Xian sighed as he laid there. In this world, the only thing that can make people disregard their own safety and even slaughter a top-notch family is profit. So, when the time comes, I must go and investigate. I hope it's as you said, that my family left something behind at the Wu family's old site. Wu Yuhan glanced at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Yes, Lin Xian guessed like that. Of course, it was only a guess. The Wu family in Feng Country wasn't on the same level as the Feng family or the Chu family. The Chu family and the Feng family were considered T2 ranked families. Because Feng Country and Hua Country's governance methods were different, Hua Country was more restrictive. It was rare to see a family controlling a city in Hua Country. If Lin Xian wasn't special, it wouldn't work if he wanted to control Lin and city in Hua Country. However, in Feng Country and other countries, you would see many situations where a family controlled a city. The Feng family and the Chu family weren't like this. They were two of the four major families in Feng Country's imperial capital. However, these four major families were much stronger than Hua Country's Tiandu's 8 major families. As for the Wu family, it was only a first-rate family under the four major families. In terms of strength, it was about the strength of Hua Country's Tiandu's 8 major families. Logically speaking, this kind of family shouldn't pose any threat to the Feng family or the Chu family. However, of course this was only a guess. They made a move against the Wu family and didn't hesitate to slaughter the Wu family. The only thing Lin Xian could think of was that something in the Wu family had been discovered. Moreover, this thing was very powerful and very important. Hence, these people didn't hesitate to do this. Let's go and take a look. Anyway, we're going over for this matter, Lin Xian said. Come. Lin Xian smiled and waved at Wu Yuhan. Wu Yuhan glanced at Lin Xian and ignored him. Oh ho! The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up, revealing a mischievous smile. Then, he released the power of space, and Wu Yuhan disappeared on the spot, reappearing on the bed. Lin Xian reached out and hugged her. Wu Yuhan, you. Beauty, the road ahead is long. Why don't we do something serious? Lin Xian then pressed her under his body. Bastard! This was a beast. However, just as Lin Xian stripped Wu Yuhan naked, there was a knock on their door. Lin Xian. Wu Yuhan hurriedly put on her clothes and tidied up her messy hair. Who is it? Lin Xian shouted. Damn it! Extremely unhappy. Sir, there's a storm ahead. Therefore, this flight has to make an emergency landing. What? Lin Xian jumped off the bed and opened the door. The beautiful flight attendant smiled at Lin Xian. Sir, there's a storm ahead. It might last for 2 to 3 days. We'll make an emergency landing in Liuzhou City and wait for the storm to pass before heading to Feng Country. Lin Xian rubbed his forehead. Understood. Thank you for your understanding. Lin Xian closed the door and walked in. Not good. This isn't a smooth start. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. It's normal. During this season, there are frequent large storms at the border between Feng Country and Hua Country. Wu Yuhan said. What storm? Why don't I know about it? Wu Yuhan said, a storm that lasts from 1 to 2 days to a week. During the storm, there will be lightning, heavy rain, and even hail. During the storm, Liuzhou City and the nearby cities will need to activate the city's defensive barrier. Otherwise, the flood will submerge the city and the hail will destroy the city. The entire city will be destroyed. Lin Xian. There's such a thing? That's too exaggerated. A storm that submerged the entire city? Wu Yuhan nodded. I encountered it once when I returned to Feng Country. It's the same as now. Look. Wu Yuhan pointed outside. Chapter 1384. Lin Xian looked in the direction that Wu Yuhan was pointing at through the window. Then, he opened his mouth wide. F***ck. The sky in front of them was already filled with dark clouds. This wasn't just a matter of the dark clouds. The dark clouds were unimaginably thick. Lin Xian had never seen such thick dark clouds in his life. It hadn't rained yet, but the clouds were already filled with lightning. The dark clouds covered an area even further than the city. And they were about to make an emergency landing. Are you sure these dark clouds aren't formed by some kind of energy? Lin Xian asked. Wu Yuhan said, it happens every year. At first, everyone thought that it might be a problem with the climate here. However, the 3 major forces came to investigate this matter. After all, activating the barrier that protects the entire city consumes a lot of resources. They discovered that it might be due to some kind of thunder attribute heaven and earth spirit item. A lightning-type heaven and earth spirit item? Lin Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. He really wanted it. Furthermore, a lightning-type heaven and earth spirit item of this level should be an extremely powerful existence. However, we couldn't find it. Some people thought it might be underground in Liuzhou City. Some people thought it might be somewhere near Liuzhou City. However, it was strange that we couldn't find it. Logically speaking, if it's a very powerful lightning-type heaven and earth spirit item, we should be able to find it. Unless it's very deep underground. Therefore, many experts would try to find it here every year, but they would all return empty-handed. After all, the city doesn't allow some people to dig so deep. Wu Yuhan said. Let's go to Liuzhou City to take a look. Lin Xian said. If there really was a very powerful lightning-type heaven and earth spirit item, Lin Xian would be very excited. Can you find it? If there is, I can definitely find it. Lin Xian said. Don't forget that he had the Eye of Cave Spirit. The Eye of Cave Spirit could detect even the slightest fluctuation of heaven and earth spirit chi. If there really was one, it would be very easy to find it. To others, it would be unimaginably difficult. However, if there was one, it would be too easy for Lin Xian. After the plane landed in Liuzhou City, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan walked out of the airport. The entire Liuzhou City was covered in darkness. It was only noon, but Liuzhou City was already drowsy. The citizens of Liuzhou City were already used to such scenes. How are you going to find him? Wu Yuhan looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. He found it inconceivable. So many people had come here to look for it, but they couldn't find it. However, this Lin Xian said that he could find it. Well, what he said seemed to be very credible. After all, this Lin Xian was not simple in her eyes. Lin Xian activated his Eye of Cave Spirit. I have my ways. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously at Wu Yuhan. Wu Yuhan did not show any expression. Follow me. What surprised Lin Xian was that the heaven and earth spiritual energy in Liuzhou City was indeed higher than normal cities, but not by much. After all, the city was so big. However, Lin Xian could see the direction of the spiritual energy. Therefore, he had to go to the place where all the spiritual energy gathered. That place should be where the heaven and earth anomaly was. Of course, that might not be the case. The thing that caused the heaven and earth anomaly might not be the thing that Lin Xian found with his Eye of Cave Spirit. However, since it was here and fate forced them to descend, it was a kind of fate for Lin Xian. After that, Lin Xian released his spatial energy and brought Wu Yuhan to that place. At this moment, Liuzhou City's extremely remote Burial Mountain welcomed all kinds of experts. Burial Mountain was one of the more famous places in Liuzhou City. Why? This place was deserted. It was located a few kilometers away from a highway with very few cars. This place was undeveloped. There was no one within a dozen kilometers. Even if it was a detour, most people would not use this highway. As its name suggested, Burial Mountain was a graveyard, and it had thousands of years of history. It was said that thousands of years ago, this was a small village. This Burial Mountain was where the villagers were buried after they died. Later on, the entire village died overnight. There were many versions of the reason, but no one could verify it. Later on, to Liuzhou City, this Burial Mountain mysteriously became a very famous burial place. They even felt that burying the dead here was a noble way of burial. Therefore, more and more people were buried here many years ago. It might not be less than 100,000, or even a few 100,000. Until now, Burial Mountain was even controlled by Liuzhou City's #1 family, the Liu family. If anyone wanted to bury the dead here, they had to first buy a piece of land. A few square meters, a few 100,000. They also had to pay the burial fee. In any case, if you wanted to bury a dead person here, it would take at least 1 million. Even so, there were still many rich people who had already bought a place to bury their dead. It was Burial Mountain. Thinking about it, it was funny. No one dared to come here because it was said that this place was very scary. Not only was it because of the dead buried here, but it was also said that anyone who entered here, of course, was an ordinary person. After they came out, they would not be clear-headed and would die within a few months. Martial artists were fine. There was no problem. Some people had come to investigate, but they could not find anything. At this moment, there were no less than 100 people gathered on Burial Mountain. These people, from their clothes to the things in their hands, were all rather strange. There were martial artists who wore normal clothes, and there seemed to be Taoists. There were also people who wore ancient robes, just like the various large sections. It could be seen that they were divided into more than 10 factions. They were all very strong. The lowest realm was probably the domain realm. Everyone. At this time, an old man in a Taoist robe took a step forward and glanced at everyone. What is the meaning of this? My Chong Yun Mountain has already searched for the spirit items under Burial Mountain for decades. Only then did we lock on to Burial Mountain. In terms of effort, whether it's Liuzhou City's Lu family, Qin family, the four great families, or the Warlock clan Sima family, Flowing Fire Manor, etc., none of them can compare to my Chong Yun Mountain. And you, a group of people, shamelessly followed my Chong Yun Mountain here. What is the meaning of this? A man walked out with a smile and then cupped his fists. Venerable Chong Yun, I'm afraid you have misunderstood. The various large families and factions did not follow Chong Yun Mountain here. They were brought here by my Sima family. My Sima family has already calculated the spirit items in Liuzhou City for decades. In terms of effort, Chong Yun Mountain cannot compare to my Sima family. Chapter 1385. After the man in his 20s finished speaking, the surrounding forces nodded in agreement. That's right. The Sima clan invited all of us here to help out. A woman from the Liuhua Manor with fiery red hair and dressed in tight clothes said as she stepped on a stone with one foot. That's right. The Sima clan is a warlock clan and Chong Yun Mountain is a Taoist faction. They're both proficient in warlocks and divination techniques. If Chong Yun Mountain can divine the location of the heaven and earth spiritual energy, so can the Sima clan. Moreover, the Sima clan should be able to divine more than the seniors of Chong Yun Mountain. We were all invited here by the Sima clan because they divine that although the heaven and earth spiritual energy is here, there's a great omen tonight. Someone from the Qin clan said, Patriarch Qin, are you saying that Chong Yun Mountain is inferior to the Sima clan? Venerable Chong Yun glanced coldly at the middle-aged man. No, that's not what I meant. The various forces and families in Liuzhou City are all very powerful. They all have their own roles and abilities. Although Chong Yun Mountain is also a warlock clan, the Sima clan is more proficient in divination techniques. Naturally, Chong Yun Mountain has other areas that the Sima clan and other forces can't compare to. The patriarch of the Qin clan was quite respectful. However, although he put it nicely, the smell of gunpowder was too strong. After all, there could only be one heaven and earth spiritual energy. They were indeed invited here by the Sima clan, but according to the Sima clan, it would depend on everyone's ability to obtain the heaven and earth spiritual energy. Therefore, they were relatively fair. Every force had a chance. Although they all knew in their hearts that the Sima clan was using them as tools, what harm was there in doing so? Chong Yun Mountain had been searching for the heaven and earth spiritual energy for decades, and the Sima clan had been searching for it for decades. They only found its exact location this year. This could only mean one thing: the grade of this spiritual item of heaven and earth had definitely reached a very exaggerated level. Divination techniques had taken so many years to lock onto its location, but they didn't know what it was. The more difficult it was, the more it proved that the heaven and earth spiritual energy was heaven-defying. Humph. Venerable Chong Yun snorted coldly and did not say anything else. At this time, the Lu family master smiled and said, Everyone, please calm down. Seniors from Zhong Yun Mountain, this matter concerns the life and death of the entire Liuzhou City. The reason for this terrifying storm every year is because of the spirit item of heaven and earth. Everyone, please raise your heads and take a look. Such a terrifying phenomenon, even the city has no choice but to release a powerful barrier to resist it. Let's not talk about anything else. For the sake of our city, the place where our ancestors have lived for hundreds of years, it's best for everyone to unite and work together. Patriarch Sima, please tell us the specific situation. The Sima family patriarch glanced at his son who was standing there in deep thought, and then said, Everyone knows that my son, Sima Yen, is the top genius of the Sima family in the past 500 years. In the art of divination, he possesses the talent of the Sima family's ancestor. In the history of the Sima family, only the two of them have this level of talent. Moreover, the ancestor has already fallen 1,000 years ago. Today's matter was divined by my son. Sima Yen is an extremely handsome man. His ability If he participated in the Heaven Martial Assembly, he would definitely be ranked 8th, or even 9th. But he did not participate. Why? Because he divined that if he went to the God's awakening door, the chances of him dying would reach 90%. Therefore, he did not go. The Sima family and the Zhuge family are the two greatest warlock families. Sima Yan and Zhuge Feng can be considered old rivals. Sima Yan took a step forward and swept his gaze over everyone. Everyone's gazes were focused on him. Sima Yan then said, "According to my divination, the phenomenon around Liuzhou City originates from a lightning-attributed spirit item of heaven and earth beneath our feet. It should be a type of divine lightning. Its grade is very high and it is rarely seen in the world. It might have been sealed here thousands or even tens of thousands of years ago. In recent years, its power has rebelled and gradually loosened, causing this phenomenon. As for this spirit item of heaven and earth, even if I didn't divinate it, it should have been born soon. It is because it is about to be born that I was able to divinate that it is beneath Disorderly Burial Mountain." He paused for a moment before continuing, "But these are not important. What's important is that any top-grade heaven and earth spiritual object will definitely be guarded by a powerful demonic beast or devil creature. It may even be in deep sleep with the heaven and earth spiritual object. Therefore, there should be a powerful demonic beast underground. According to my prediction, once the heaven and earth spiritual object is disturbed, other things will happen. This is also why, even though my Sima clan knew about this, we did not dare to come alone and had to bring so many forces with us." "What danger will there be?" Lu family's Yagawa Ji asked. Yagawa Ji is also a top-grade warlock and belongs to this generation. Of course, he is slightly inferior to Sima Yan. However, if he participated in the Heaven Martial Assembly, he should be able to get into the top 15. Everyone, don't forget where this is. This is Disorderly Burial Mountain. Since ancient times, many corpses have been buried here in Liuzhou City. There is no problem with modern corpses, but many corpses have been buried here for decades, centuries, or even millennia. There is no lack of former generals, ministers, nobles, and even warriors." Sima Yan paused for a moment, then continued, "And this spirit item of heaven and earth has refined these corpses for hundreds of millennia. These corpses are already extraordinary. You are saying that they will awaken? How is that possible? Even if this spirit item has been refining these corpses for many years and gives them spirit energy, it cannot give them the ability to move. At most, these corpses will not rot for many years." Someone said. Sima Yan shook his head, "I don't know either, but the result of my divination is that they will awaken. It is even very dangerous." Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it be a demon beast that is sleeping with the spirit item underground? Flowing Fire Manor's Manor Lord said. It is possible. Demons are dozens of times more sensitive to the spirit energy of heaven and earth than humans. This kind of spirit energy should be able to attract demons. So, what is everyone's decision? More than 100 people exchanged looks. This left them trembling in fear. What's there to be afraid of? Our various family clans and factions are already here. There are no less than 40 people at the Great Void Realm. The lowest realm is at the Heavenly Venerate Realm. Could there be a Heavenly Tao Realm demon underground? Ha ha ha. Heavenly Tao Realm? It's indeed impossible. There's really no need to worry. Everyone, let's prepare to take action. Chapter 1386. The Heavenly Tao Realm was an extremely terrifying existence. Tell me, for a Heavenly Tao Realm to slumber for thousands of years? Based on what? And why? This was illogical. Furthermore, it was not easy for a Heavenly Tao Realm existence to appear. The Heavenly Tao Realm of various fey beasts and demons was much harder to grow than a human's. Due to their lifespan, the fey beasts that had the qualifications to advance to the Heavenly Venerate, Great Void, and Heavenly Tao Realm had extremely powerful bloodlines. And for such fey beasts with powerful bloodlines, they aged 1 year every 100 years. For humans, they lived 1 lifetime every 100 years. However, there were pros and cons to each. For example, a Fae with a powerful bloodline might need thousands of years to reach the heavenly Tao realm. Look at Linglong Shui. She was also a figure from 1,000 years ago. She was only at the heavenly Tao realm. She had the world's top bloodline, but she still needed a very long time. Therefore, could there be a Fae of that level underground? The possibility was too low. Hey. Slow down. Wait for me. Hold my hand. I'm afraid. Just as they were about to discuss, a voice sounded from behind. Everyone looked over. Everyone who knew about this operation was here. Naturally, this matter wouldn't be spread out. After all, although it might be dangerous, the more people there were, the more competition there would be. Yes, they seemed to be cooperating now. However, everyone knew that if the heaven and earth spiritual treasure were to come into being, every person and every force would fight. Of course, the premise was that the heaven and earth Fae was worth it. But now, there was a voice coming from behind. It was very odd. No one would come to such a place. Hold my hand. Quick. I want to hold your hand. Lin Xian said to Wu Yuhan with a shameless smile. Wu Yuhan was really having a headache. This Lin Xian was the embodiment of shameless scum. She was convinced. Tell me, you've already seen through it. Is there really a need to hold my hand on such a difficult path? It was already raining. Although the enchantment had isolated 80% of the rain and lightning, 20% was still considered moderate rain. This mountain was covered in soil, grass, and trees. Furthermore, it was raining. It was extremely difficult to walk, yet you still wanted to take advantage of it. She was convinced. Holy *T. Did he *King not bury it properly or something? Why is his hand sticking out? Lin Xian was about to continue taking advantage of Wu Yuhan when he suddenly turned his head. Damn! There was a hand sticking out of a tombstone that looked quite old. Although it was only a third of a finger, wasn't it scary? What made Lin Xian feel strange was that this was really a dead person. His hand didn't rot. Then, he and Wu Yuhan looked up and saw that there were pairs of eyes staring at them. It was late at night, the light was dim, and they were in disorderly Burial Mountain. Suddenly, a group of people appeared in front of them. Wouldn't that be scary? *CK. Lin Xian was shocked. To be honest, even if they were warriors, they would certainly be somewhat afraid of ghosts. Even if it was a demon beast of the heavenly venerable realm or the absolute void realm, they wouldn't be afraid. After all, those were existences that they knew. However, things like ghosts were illusory and the unknown always made people more afraid. You two are? Qin family patriarch Qin Tianyu looked at Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan and asked. The light was too dim and the surroundings were too noisy. There was only the sound of wind and rain, so they couldn't see each other clearly. Hearing human words, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. They weren't ghosts. However, *CK. He was here to look for treasures. Why were there so many people here? Lin Xian used his eye of cave spirit to investigate. Holy *T. They were all in the heavenly venerable realm or the absolute void realm. There were even many that he couldn't detect. For example, the one who spoke proved that he was at least 6 stars of the absolute void realm. We're here for a vacation. Lin Xian grinned and said. The corners of their mouths twitched. Vacation. Vacation your mom. He, little brother, this is Disorderly Burial Mountain, a place where people are buried. You're here for a vacation in the middle of the night? Even if you want us to believe you, we won't believe you. Then what are you doing here in the middle of the night? Lin Xian asked, looking at the stars. Lin Xian. Wow. This was even more ridiculous than him. He, since you two are here, come on up. Qin Tianyu smiled and said. They were just 2 juniors. Even if they were here, what did it matter? On the contrary, they could be used as a fighting force. Even if they died, they could help them deal with some enemies, right? In any case, they definitely didn't have the qualifications to fight for the heaven and earth spiritual items. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan looked at each other and walked over. When Wu Yuhan fell into their line of sight, many of the men's eyes suddenly lit up. Although it was dim, they were close enough to see Wu Yuhan's cat clearly. This woman was simply unbelievably beautiful. Sometimes, how could one prove whether a man was outstanding? In fact, the simplest way was to look at the woman beside him. The more outstanding the woman beside him was, the more outstanding the man would be. However, even if these two juniors were quite outstanding, so what? After all, they were just juniors. After that, they ignored Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan. The two of them walked to a corner. Lin Xian sat on a rock and pulled Wu Yuhan to sit on his lap. This made Wu Yuhan extremely helpless. Now, what should we do to make the heaven and earth spiritual item appear? Luhuishan Manor's owner asked Sima Yen. Lin Xian frowned. F***ck. They were indeed here to look for the heaven and earth spiritual item. However, F***ck. For so many years, no one had been able to find it or confirm its location. Why did they happen to be here when he arrived? Seriously, Sima Yen said, the most important thing now is to confirm its location. Next, I'll set up a spirit gathering array. When the time comes, I'll need everyone here to release enough energy in the array. When the time comes, the spirit gathering array will condense the surrounding spiritual energy. With the help of this spiritual energy, there's a high chance that the heaven and earth spiritual item will appear. Everyone nodded. No problem. Hey, did none of you pay attention to this thing? Lin Xian pointed at a place at the back and said. That place was the grave mound where the hand had just reached out. At this moment, Lin Xian took a look. F***ck. The hand that had just reached out was only 1/3 of the fingers. Now, an entire hand had silently reached out. Everyone looked over. As expected, everyone's brows furrowed. So, everyone, please be careful. After the spirit gathering array is activated, our enemies will appear. Chapter 1387. They didn't pay attention to Lin Xian's words just now, but even now, when they saw the hand reaching out from the grave, they weren't particularly surprised. This was because they had already talked about this possibility from the beginning. Everyone, our Sima family will begin to condense the spirit gathering array. Later on, please gather the array and protect us. Sima Yen glanced at the crowd and said. Obviously, they didn't take Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan seriously. Of course, they took Wu Yuhan seriously because she was too beautiful. It was just that the two of them were too young. Even if they were top-notch geniuses, they were only at the heavenly venerable realm. A heavenly venerable was the weakest among the 100 or so people. Therefore, they didn't have the qualifications to compete for the heaven and earth spiritual item. Instead, they would help them attract the attention of many evil beings. After that, those people found a relatively flat spot and began to condense the spirit gathering array. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan sat there and watched. To be precise, Lin Xian was sitting there, while Wu Yuhan sat on Lin Xian's lap. She didn't want to sit, but this bastard just hugged her on his lap. She was really convinced. If not, there would definitely be people coming over to hit on her. However, when those young masters saw this, they thought, F***ck, this beautiful woman was actually hugged on his lap. They must be a couple. Very unhappy. Extremely unhappy. There were beauties everywhere, but such a beautiful one was really rare. However, why did it feel a little familiar? Looks like these people are also here to look for the heaven and earth spiritual item. Lin Xian touched Wu Yuhan's beautiful leg. Wu Yuhan. This was a beast. She seriously suspected that Lin Xian said he would accompany her to Feng Nation so that he could have sex with her every day during this trip. Come on. And Wu Yuhan nodded, then twisted her but, trying to get away from Lin Xian's lap. However, she couldn't break free at all. If it was Wu Yunuo, she would definitely have done so. However, Wu Yuhan couldn't let go. Really, before I came, no one discovered this place for decades. Just as I came, this place was discovered. I'm convinced. Lin Xian shook his head. Wu Yuhan nodded. It is indeed a coincidence. It seems like the Sima family has deduced it. Sima family? Lin Xian looked at the dozen or so people who were in the midst of spirit gathering. MHM, the Sima family and Zhuge Feng's Zhuge family became the continent's two great warlock families. The two great families have been competing with each other for generations. They are proficient in the art of divination. However, it took the Sima clan so many years to deduce this place. I guess it's just like what you said. This spiritual object of heaven and earth is definitely not simple. Wu Yuhan said. What she found strange was that the Sima clan might have been able to discover this place after many years of planning, but Lin Xian had immediately found this place the moment he arrived. How did he do it? However, when she thought about how this was Lin Xian, she felt that it was normal again. She had seen too many incredible things from Lin Xian. Of course it's not simple. Even a corpse that had been dead for so many years was about to crawl out. Do you think it's simple? Lin Xian looked at the corpse in the distance that had half an arm stretched out and was secretly speechless. To be honest, it was a little scary. However, these people also saw it and did not panic. They did not seem worried at all. They were indeed not worried. What realm were they in? What kind of strength could these corpses that had been resurrected have? Not to mention that they were resurrected one by one. Could they be heavenly venerables? Higher void? That was simply nonsense. These were all shrimp soldiers and crab generals. That was what they thought. Lin Xian thought so too. Lin Xian could only think of one reason why these corpses could resurrect, was that the spiritual object of heaven and earth nourished them all year round. This was not the main point. The main point was that there must be a powerful demonic beast underground. No, it might not be a demonic beast. It might be an evil spirit. The main point was that the evil spirit borrowed the spiritual energy of the spiritual object of heaven and earth to resurrect the corpses here. Moreover, Lin Xian could clearly see through the eye of cave spirit that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was all gathered under their feet. However, Lin Xian did not know what exactly it was like. Since these experts were here as tools, Lin Xian would have an easy time. It was hard to say who would be the winner in the end. Then what should we do? Wu Yuhan asked Lin Xian. Compete with these people for the spiritual object of heaven and earth? That was a little difficult. Let's play it by ear. Let's go. Where to? Find a deserted lawn and have some sex. Wu Yuhan. Bang. She sat on Lin Xian's lap and stomped hard on Lin Xian's foot. Ouch. Lin Xian let out a blood-curdling scream. Then, Wu Yuhan broke free from Lin Xian's grip and stood quietly at the side. Lin Xian shook his head helplessly. Women. Lin Xian then turned his gaze to the other side. The spirit-gathering formation had been completed. This spirit-gathering array should be able to speed up the birth of the spiritual object of heaven and earth. In the next instant, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Why? Because he saw a huge wave of spiritual energy moving underground with his eye of cave spirit. Is it a demonic beast? Lin Xian frowned. Regardless of whether it was a demonic beast or not, there should not be a problem with so many experts here. Even if something went wrong, Lin Xian could still escape with Wu Yuhan using the space attribute. Even if the consequences were serious, it was not caused by Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was extremely interested in the spiritual object of heaven and earth below. A top-notch lightning attribute spiritual object of heaven and earth should be the rarest spiritual object of heaven and earth. Lightning. It was much rarer than fire, ice, and water. Moreover, its strength was definitely very powerful. If possible, Lin Xian must get it. Everyone, concentrate. Sima Yan shouted. Okay. In the next instant, more than 100 people poured their spiritual energy into the spirit-gathering array. Since the two of you are here, you must be here for the spiritual object of heaven and earth. Come and help. Sima Lian, who was the current head of the Sima family and Sima Yan's father, glanced at Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan and said, Why did he ask them to come? With 2 more people, they could pour less of their spiritual energy into the array. They would have more advantages when facing possible dangers and demonic beasts, as well as fighting for the spiritual object of heaven and earth. "Let's go," Lin Xian said to Wu Yuhan. They had to take action. If they did not, they would say that they did not contribute at all and that they were not qualified to fight for the spiritual object of heaven and earth. If that happened, how could Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan fight against so many people? However, the 2 of them poured their spiritual energy very little, so the consumption of spiritual energy was very low. Chapter 1388. As time passed by, not many people paid attention to Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan as they were surrounded by the surging spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Roar. At this moment, a low roar came from all directions. This low roar was similar to the low roar of zombies in zombie movies. Lin Xian turned his head to take a look. From the tombs, corpses that had been dead for many years crawled out one after another. Their bodies did not seem to have decomposed. On the contrary, other than the mud that was stained with water, they did not seem to be any different from normal people. Other than the death aura that surrounded their bodies and their blood-red eyes, none of these people were wearing modern clothes. The modern people did not awaken. Perhaps it was because they had been buried here for a long time. Lin Xian roughly glanced at them. What the hell? He looked at about 20 or so people. The lowest realm was Mystic Heaven. The highest realm was Law Realm. Was it that exaggerated? Originally, Lin Xian even thought that these things did not have any realms. Now, the lowest realm was Mystic Heaven. Although Mystic Heaven was nothing in front of Heavenly Venerables and Virtuality Realm experts, this was still a bit exaggerated. Mystic Heaven had Law Realm. Did that mean that Heavenly Venerables also had Law Realm? Then, Lin Xian was stunned. There were more and more. According to incomplete statistics, not counting the corpses buried here in modern times, there might be tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of corpses buried here 100 or even 1,000 years ago. In other words, it was very likely that these people here were considered living dead. Could it be that there were tens of thousands of them? Hundreds of thousands? Lu family head, activate the array. Sima Lian shouted. Space lock. In the next moment, Lu family head released the power of space and sealed the entire mass burial mountain. They were not fools. Although they might fight for it, they had already made other preparations. For example, they had to seal the mass burial mountain. What if these things ran into Lu State City? What if they had the ability to infect? Wouldn't the world be in chaos? Naturally, they didn't want that to happen. These undead are all existences from hundreds or even thousands of years ago. They are constantly being nourished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, causing their cultivation to be much higher than I imagined. I'm afraid that some of them are even very strong. Now, let's get rid of these undead first. Venerable Chong Yun of Mount Chong Yun shouted. All right. Then, one figure after another rushed towards the undead that were crawling out. Roar! More and more undead appeared. Apart from some of their movements, which were no longer human-like, their combat power was not lower than ordinary people of the same level. This was because they seemed to be unable to feel pain. Even if their arms were chopped off, they could still continue to fight crazily. Of course he wouldn't feel any pain if he was dead. Moreover, they were extremely crazy, which led to their normal battle prowess being very strong. Lin Xian even saw some of the undead unleashing their martial skills. What the F***CK? Be careful. These undead are not simple, they can even use martial arts. The highest one could reach was the Law Realm. Sima family head, why did the heaven and earth spirit object appear? Qin family head, Qin Tianyu, asked. I don't know, but everyone must be careful. These undead are being controlled by the drug underground. What can they do with their current level? Kill. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan looked at each other. Should we attack? No need. Let's rest and conserve some spiritual energy. Lin Xian smiled. But they've already attacked. If we don't attack, won't it be bad? Wu Yuhan asked. It's fine. All right. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan stood in the middle and watched the experts around them slaughter the undead. Even if their levels were quite high, the experts here were even higher. Why aren't the two of you attacking? Lu Yen, the son of the Lu family, landed beside Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan and asked with a frown. We're out of spiritual energy. We didn't control it when we activated the array, so our spiritual energy is empty. Moreover, we don't have to attack now, right? Lin Xian grinned. Lu Yen glanced at Wu Yuhan and then at Lin Xian. His eyes were filled with jealousy. He didn't say anything and continued to join the battle. Lin Xian scanned the surroundings. There were more and more undead. These experts could casually kill dozens of them. However, Lin Xian realized that the number of undead didn't decrease at all. Densely packed, they were running towards them from all directions of the huge disorderly burial mountain. A frenzied attack. At this moment, a scream was heard. Many people turned to look at the person who screamed. F***ck. A heavenly venerable gritted his teeth and cursed. Then, he twisted off the head of an undead and threw it aside. Are you okay? The red-haired lady from Liuhua Manor landed beside him. Her aura surged and 2 fire dragons erupted, instantly sending dozens of undead flying. I'm fine. The man in his 20s shook his head. Then, he pulled up his sleeves and frowned. Although there was only pain in that area, when he saw the state it was in, he panicked. Why? The wound was covered in green blood. There were even signs of decay around the wound. It's poisonous. Then the red-haired lady shouted, Everyone be careful. These undead are poisonous. Don't get hurt. The moment she finished speaking, the man's eyes turned green. He let out a low growl. Bang! His right hand pierced towards the woman. Fortunately, the lady's realm was very high. She reacted quickly and dodged instantly. Ugh! Then, the man charged at her like a madman and attacked her. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Isn't the poison too strong? It mutated in just a few seconds. 1,000 flames. The Liuhua Manor's owner landed in front of him. Then, a flame enveloped him. In the next instant, he charged forward. A terrifying force controlled him and grabbed his neck. Then, he checked and his pupils shrank. He was already dead. That's right. His arm was injured. It mutated in just a few seconds. Then, in just a few seconds after the mutation, the 1-star Heavenly Venerable was already dead. He could move now because of the same reason as the undead. In the next instant, the terrifying flames burned him into nothingness. Everyone, be careful. Don't get hurt. The power of these undead can mutate a Heavenly Venerable in just a few seconds. They can even kill a few seconds after the mutation. Be careful. Liuhua Manor's owner, Hua Yunfei, shouted. What? They're that strong? Many people who didn't pay attention to what was happening were shocked. Inexplicably, they had a bad feeling in their hearts. Really, it was fortunate that they had sealed the space. Otherwise, if they had barged into Liuzhou City, the consequences would be unimaginable. Chapter 1389. Lin Xian was also shocked when he saw this scene. This was too exaggerated. In fact, they had all guessed that there would be such a possibility. Once they were injured, they might mutate, and if they mutated, they might die. However, Lin Xian was still shocked. No matter what, they were still Heavenly Venerables. Were Heavenly Venerables weak? No, Heavenly Venerables were already very strong. In the entire human race, Heavenly Venerables could be considered super strong. It was really not easy to see them. If it were not for the fact that the top warriors of their generation were very talented, there would not be so many Heavenly Venerables. Then, if a Heavenly Venerate was injured, they would be infected in a few seconds. The infected would then attack others. During the attack, the virus or corpse aura could kill the powerful Heavenly Venerables in a few seconds. As for how they died, It might be because their organs failed in a short period of time because of this force. God knows. In short, it was a little amazing. Even if you were to fight with someone of the same realm, you could use a powerful martial skill to attack them. Even if they did not block, they might not die in a few seconds. Be careful. Lin Xian looked at Wu Yuhan and said, "A short 10 seconds could kill a person. Even if there was a way to detoxify them, it would be too late." Wu Yuhan nodded. "Got it. Let's do it too." "Okay." Whoosh whoosh. The two figures then rushed toward the nearest undead. Let's call them undead for the time being. Fortunately, although these undead couldn't feel pain, even if their chests were pierced and their arms were chopped off, it wouldn't affect their speed. However, the people here were at a higher realm. They could casually release a big move and kill a group of undead in an instant. Moreover, they would be completely annihilated. There was no way for them to struggle. Lin Xian rushed to a small hill far away. When Lin Xian rushed out of the hill, he saw the black mass of undead below. His mouth was wide open. F***CK? Logically speaking, this scene really gave off the feeling of being surrounded by zombies. A dense mass of zombies surrounded the entire area. Moreover, these zombies' cultivation levels were all very high. So, it was very likely that there were tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of undead. It was too F***king scary. However, after all, the vast majority of them did not have high cultivation levels. Although there were many of them, don't forget that their cultivation levels were very high. The effect of a powerful big move was very good. Spatial Blast. Lin Xian released his powerful spatial energy. Then, within his line of sight, several thousand undead instantly exploded in the space condensed by Lin Xian. Space. In fact, there were a few people who had been paying attention to Lin Xian. After all, Wu Yuhan was too beautiful. They also wanted to see what kind of person Lin Xian was. When Lin Xian rushed over and was about to make his first move, they wanted to see Lin Xian's techniques. Then, they saw Lin Xian release spatial attribute energy. Boom! The energy exploded. When the dust dissipated, there was a clear feeling. The large number of undead were all annihilated. Time passed slowly. They did not know how long they had been killing. They were all experts. Other than the first mistake, none of them were injured or died. Moreover, they were all very strong. They quickly released their energy to clear the undead army that was surging in from all directions. The main thing was that the Sky Venerable died in a few seconds. Therefore, everyone was extremely cautious in the battle. No one dared to be careless. That was why they did not suffer any losses. Wrath of Heavenly Fire. After a great virtual realm expert from Liuhua Manor cleared a large number of undead around him, his gaze landed on a figure that was charging towards him not far away. With a terrifying flame, he directly blasted over. However, what he did not expect was that the figure actually released a power that was not inferior to his in an instant. The power of the black fog directly swallowed the flame. Puff! That expert from Liuhua Manor spat out a mouthful of blood and was directly sent flying. After landing on the ground, he half knelt there. Fourth brother. Liuhua Manor's Manor Lord Hua Yunfei shouted. I'm fine. The middle-aged man stood up. His red hair fluttered and his body was wrapped in flames. He said, Everyone be careful. A great virtual realm undead has come out. Although he was injured, it was only an attack. He was not like the previous person who was injured by the undead's claws and was bleeding. Therefore, he did not undergo any mutation. What? Great virtual realm? Hearing this, many people who were still fighting around looked over and revealed a shocked expression. A great virtual realm undead? This. How strong is it? Why can an undead have a great virtual realm undead? This. Could it be that the mysterious monster underground has an even higher cultivation realm? Hua Yunfei rushed over and began to fight with the great virtual realm undead. Then he shouted, It's only a great virtual realm 3-star. Although its combat power is stronger than an ordinary great virtual realm 3-star, it's not a big deal. This undead's high cultivation realm only means one thing. It has been buried here for a very long time and has been nourished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth for a long time. In other words, its cultivation realm when it was alive was not low. This does not mean anything. Upon hearing Hua Yunfei's words, everyone found it reasonable and nodded in agreement. Another few great virtual realm undead have arrived. Everyone at the great virtual realm, do not let them approach our heavenly venerable children. Attack. All right. Following that, dozens of great virtual realm undead released their true strength. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan leaned together. Great virtual realm. Lin Xian revealed a worried look. The existence of a great virtual realm undead was truly unexpected. Although what Hua Yunfei said made sense, the reason for having great virtual realm undead was that they had been dead for a long time and had been nourished by the heaven and earth spiritual energies for a long time, or it could be said that their cultivation realm was high when they were alive, but Lin Xian had a nagging feeling that this was indeed the case, but it was not only that. Don't tell me that the monster underground is really at the heavenly Dao realm? Lin Xian muttered. That can't be, right? Wu Yuhan found it unbelievable as well. She had never seen a heavenly Dao realm before. Wasn't it a little too unbelievable for one to appear in such a place? If it's at the heavenly Dao realm, it can just come out and kill all of us. Why would it need to do this? Wu Yuhan said. That makes sense too. Lin Xian nodded. But I keep feeling uneasy. Lin Xian said. It's fine. You have the spatial attribute. At the very least, it won't be a problem for you to stay alive. I'm just worried. If the situation here really goes out of control, these undead will surge into places where humans live. Then, perhaps the Resident Evil from the movies will appear in reality. Wu Yuhan's beautiful eyes shimmered with worry as she spoke. Chapter 1390. Actually, they were not too worried about Resident Evil. Why? In the movie, Resident Evil was very dangerous. It was as if the whole world was about to be destroyed. That was because everyone was an ordinary person. However, on this continent, there were so many warriors. It could only cause huge and troublesome consequences. As long as it was controlled, the experts could easily suppress it for a short period of time. However, no one hoped for such a thing to happen. However, Lin Xian was more worried about that mysterious monster. Time passed slowly. After about an hour, all the undead that they could see had been eliminated. As for how many there were a few kilometers away, they did not care. After all, the space had been sealed. Sima Yen, when will the spiritual item appear? Everyone asked Sima Yen as they rested and recovered their spiritual power. Sima Yen glanced at the spirit gathering formation and said, Soon. I don't know the exact details, but it will definitely appear before dawn. Doesn't that mean we have to stay here and wait? Venerable Chong Yun snorted and said, Shouldn't we wait? Let's not talk about other things first. We have to get rid of all the undead in this mountain and even that monster. If we don't get rid of it, Liuzhou City will fall into a disaster. We all know that. There must be many undead in the distance, and even existences in the virtual realm. However, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, when will that monster appear? Sima Lian said, This is also something that cannot be analyzed. I can only say that when the heaven and earth spiritual treasure is born or before, that monster will definitely appear. Right now, since they have yet to be born, we can't be idle. I suggest that everyone methodically search Disorderly Burial Mountain according to their own family and forces, and eliminate all the undead that can be found. Ha ha ha, Hua Yunfei laughed and said, It shouldn't be a problem for us to stay here, right? Those undead should come looking for us, right? Why do we have to do this? Yes. There's no need to do this. Everyone agreed. Why did they all say that? It was a very simple logic. The Sima clan had the ability to deduce the mysteries of the heavens. What if they managed to deduce something and sent them away, and the treasure ended up in their hands? That was what they were worried about. However, Sima Lian didn't have such thoughts. His thoughts were very simple. Liuzhou City was their home that they had lived in for hundreds or even thousands of years. They had all seen how terrifying the undead were. If one of them managed to escape, the consequences would be unimaginable. Sima Lian naturally knew what these people were thinking. He frowned and said, "Everyone, there are a lot of undead on this burial mountain, and they should be under control. The space is sealed, but aren't you worried about accidents? Once one enters Liuzhou City, the consequences will be unimaginable. And we are the main culprits behind all of this." He paused for a moment before continuing, "Before a spirit treasure is born, it will attract an extremely powerful heaven and earth phenomenon. As long as this heaven and earth phenomenon doesn't appear, we don't have to worry about the appearance of the spirit treasure. Now that we have nothing to do, what's more important is to deal with the undead." Hearing Sima Lian's words, they hesitated for a moment. That was true. Before a spirit treasure was born, it would be accompanied by a powerful heaven and earth phenomenon. This was especially true for this spirit treasure. Before it was born, the winds and clouds would definitely change, so they didn't have to worry too much. That's true. Liuzhou City is the home that our ancestors have lived in for so many years. How about this? Let's organize ourselves according to our families and factions. Let's deal with the entire burial mountain first. If a heaven and earth phenomenon appears, everyone will gather here immediately. Hua Yunfei then said, "That works too. But there's one thing we have to take note of. No one knows when that monster hiding in the dark will appear. It might have already appeared, and we might even be noticed by it. If we split up, we might give it a chance to attack. Everyone, be careful." Sima Lian reminded them. That's fine. Although the burial mountain is big, it's not so big that it's unimaginable. If there's even the slightest movement, we'll be able to sense it. Venerable Chong Yun said. That's true. Then let's hurry up and deal with this matter first. Following that, the factions scattered in all directions. Then let's go together. Lin Xian pinched Wu Yuhan's butt. Wu Yuhan blushed and glared at Lin Xian. Then, the two of them walked in a certain direction. Do you think what everyone is worried about will happen? Wu Yuhan asked. Lin Xian shook his head. I don't know, but I do know that tonight won't be peaceful. Is it because the monster is very strong? That's only one thing. On the other hand, there might be a battle between the various factions. If the heaven and earth spirit treasure is enough to cause them to fight among themselves, they'll fight until their heads bleed. So why are we still staying here? Wu Yuhan's soul asked. Hundreds of people, dozens of Great Void Stage cultivators, and there might even be 8, 9, or 10 stars Great Void Stage cultivators. The two of them were 10 stars Heavenly Venerables. Even if they survived, how could they compete with these people? That's true. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. The main thing is that it's not just one of them who has a high cultivation level. There are too many of them. We won't be able to win. Lin Xian said, let's try. What if? Wu Yuhan, you're so reliant on luck? Sometimes, you just don't believe it. Sometimes, luck is really important. Lin Xian grinned at her. Wu Yuhan was helpless. Yes, sometimes, luck was really important. It was also the so-called destiny. All right. Then what should we do? Let's fight. Wu Yuhan, give him a punch. Time passed slowly. Lin Xian's wish to fight did not come true. However, there didn't seem to be many dead souls left. Anyway, they didn't see any along the way. Moreover, there was no movement from other places. After that, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan sat at a place to recover their spiritual power and prepare for the final battle. Suddenly, Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. Wu Yuhan, who was beside him, noticed Lin Xian's movement and opened her beautiful eyes to look at Lin Xian. What's wrong? Under the investigation of the Eye of Cave Spirit, a wave of spiritual power from underground disappeared from its original position. As for where it went, Lin Xian couldn't see it. There's danger, Lin Xian said with a frown. That spiritual power should be that monster. It might have gone to attack them. As for whether it was him, Lin Xian wasn't sure. Chapter 1391. Now, that force had disappeared from Lin Xian's sight. To be precise, Lin Xian could lock onto that force because the heaven and earth spiritual energy was gathered at that location. Now, because its speed was changing rapidly, Lin Xian couldn't capture it. However, Lin Xian could roughly guess the location of this demonic beast. It was just that there might be some delay, and the delay was relatively long. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed and said, "It went there." Lin Xian pointed in a direction. Wu Yuhan knew what Lin Xian was talking about. "Do you know how strong it is?" Lin Xian shook his head. "How would I know? But it has been hiding in the dark. It probably knows the realms of all of us here like the back of its hand. It might be preparing to make a move. Now that we've been separated, we don't know what kind of demonic beast it is. Let's go over and take a look. If we need to, we have to inform the others immediately. Otherwise, if there are any accidents, it might lead to unimaginable consequences." Lin Xian said. This was because he was worried that this demonic beast might be able to silently eliminate some people in a short period of time. That would be a little scary. All right. In the next moment, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan both released the dark attribute at the same time. In this dark night, they definitely hid themselves in the rain. This was their advantage. Why? The dark attribute was very good at hiding, especially in the dark night. Especially when their dark attribute had reached 100% purity. Ordinary people with higher realms than them would find it difficult to detect them. Now, they were in the dark and surrounded by the rain. In such an environment, it was actually harder for the demonic beast to detect them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, Lin Xian's eye of cave spirit searched for the heaven and earth spiritual energy that was moving. Then, while hidden, he sped over. On the other side, the Zhang family members were searching for this location. "Family head, do you think the Sima clan purposely sent us away?" A man walked to the patriarch of the Zhang family and asked. "I think even if it's not, there must be some other reason. It's definitely not that simple," a Zhang family member said. "That's right. The Sima clan is the Warlock clan's clan head. They know a lot of things that we don't know. How could they be so benevolent? For Liuzhou City? Even if Liuzhou City was gone, couldn't they move to other cities to live? They aren't the only ones in Liuzhou City. Compared to all of this, obtaining this heaven and earth spirit treasure that hasn't appeared for decades is the most important thing. The more I think about it, the more I feel that something is wrong. The key point is, Mass Burial Mountain is huge, and it's not small either. They didn't say where exactly the spiritual item of heaven and earth would appear. They only said that they couldn't figure it out. Who knows if it's true or not? Those people discussed animatedly. "Done." The Zhang family's patriarch, Zhang Kunai, said. Then, he looked at the crowd and said, "No matter what, the Zhang family must fight for the heaven and earth spiritual treasure. At least we can be sure of one thing. The birth of the heaven and earth spiritual treasure must be accompanied by a powerful heaven and earth spiritual treasure and a heaven and earth vision. Although the first time is definitely the biggest advantage, it's not a big deal even if it's a few minutes later. That's true. Furthermore, even if we arrive late, there will always be people who arrive early to fight with the Sima clan. Once the fight starts, we will be able to make it in time." They discussed animatedly. Suddenly, a streak of blood appeared in the darkness. A person from the Zhang family walked and stopped. He stopped there. This streak of blood was so fast that it was unimaginable. It came from behind them, but it was very weak. In addition, it was very difficult to detect it in the storm. "Third brother, when the time comes, let's fight side by side. I can also learn a lot from fighting with you," an Empyrean realm youth from the Zhang family said. Then, he didn't get a reply. "Third brother?" The young man turned around to take a look. Kocha, with a flash of lightning, he saw the person behind him standing there. His eyes were wide open and protruding. Accompanied by this flash of lightning, it was really a little scary. "Third brother." Third brother. As a martial artist, he clearly understood what a person's eyes looked like when they were dead or alive. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. His neck began to bleed at this time. Third brother. That person shouted loudly. At the same time, everyone turned back to look. The Zhang family's patriarch, Zhang Kanai, opened his eyes wide and rushed over. He was already a corpse. Alert! Alert! The other members of the Zhang family shouted. Instantly, their auras surged as they looked around vigilantly. They did not know who did it, but they knew that they did not notice at all, and he died. He died just like that. This was a little too scary. Shua. At this time, another red light flashed by. Be careful. The speed was unimaginable. Then, another Empyrean realm fell into a pool of blood again. He did not struggle at all. He could not struggle at all. What? They watched helplessly as this force killed him, but there was nothing they could do. Is this a demon? They all leaned together. It's demon power. But the realm can't be distinguished. It's too fast. Patriarch, what should we do? Send the signal. However, at this time, the Zhang family's patriarch's pupils suddenly shrank. In a small forest in front, he vaguely saw a black shadow. The light was very dim. He could not see what the black shadow looked like, but he could see that it was a demon beast. It seemed to only reveal half of its body and only one eye. The blood-red eye was especially terrifying in the darkness. Shwa shwa shwa. In the next moment, a terrifying red light blasted toward them. Pull away. Zhang Kanai shouted angrily. However, they found that they could not move. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Only those with higher stars in the virtualization realm could move. Boom. In the next moment, a terrifying force flattened the small mountain. No. The few great void stage experts who had escaped roared angrily. The movement here did not attract too much attention. Either they were very far away and could only vaguely feel a little movement, or they did not suspect anything. This power did not seem to be particularly strong. Various forces were fighting in all directions, so it did not seem to be a big deal. When the dust settled, those people had become corpses. Patriarch! Patriarch! Run! Run! Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Then, those few virtualization realm experts quickly rushed in all directions. Their own family members were already dead. They could not do anything about it. Saving their lives was more important. Chapter 1392. In the dock, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan had also snuck into this place. They didn't see what had just happened. When they arrived, it was already over. However, Lin Xian and the rest saw the remaining people running away. As the two of them were hiding, they weren't too worried about being discovered. Of course, there was still danger. Therefore, the two of them didn't show themselves until Lin Xian's eye of cave spirit discovered the demonic beast hiding in the dark. It was too far and too dark to see clearly. The demonic beast disappeared in an instant. Lin Xian only saw the emergence of spiritual energy. What kind of demonic beast is that? Wu Yuhan was shocked. I don't know. Its grade shouldn't be too high, but definitely not too low. If its grade was high, it wouldn't have taken care of some people in secret and directly showed itself. Lin Xian said. That's true. Now, the news should reach those people's ears soon. Lin Xian then showed himself and went to the corpses of those people. They saw the last attack. It was a power attack and couldn't see anything. However, there were two corpses that were hit by the blood-red light. Those two corpses could be examined. Lin Xian took a look and frowned. What a fierce attack. This should be a speed-type demonic beast. Lin Xian nodded. The most troublesome demonic beasts were speed-type demonic beasts. In the world of martial arts, only speed was invincible. Of course, that was unless you had time and space, which could restrain speed. However, if your realm wasn't high enough, time and space would be useless. Poison? Lin Xian looked at the wounds and realized that not only was this force fierce, it was also terrifyingly poisonous. Poison was the most troublesome force to deal with. Without any preparation, if the poison spread, how could they avoid it? At this moment, about 3 kilometers behind them, an extremely powerful force erupted. The entire ground was shaking. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan quickly turned around, looking at the red light. There. Let's go. Whoosh whoosh, the two of them rushed over. When they arrived, there were only a few corpses left. Lin Xian didn't know which family they were from. So, a few people landed beside them. What happened? Those people were from the Lu family. The Lu family was one of the stronger clans among these people. Lin Xian shook his head. I don't know. When I arrived, I found that these people were already dead. Looks like the demonic beast has already appeared. Then, the head of the Lu family took out something and threw it into the air. Boom! Lights similar to fireworks flickered. Following that, all the clans gathered at this location. What happened? Sima Lian asked. Someone was attacked. The 6 stars of the Absolute Void stage is also dead. Lu family head said. It has appeared. Over 100 people gathered here. Then, they all took out their own spirit artifacts and prepared for the upcoming battle. 5 minutes later, they realized that more than 30 people were missing. Among them, there were more than a dozen great void stage experts. If they hadn't returned yet, it could only mean one thing. They were all dead. Including the few experts from the Zhang family who escaped, none of them had returned. What kind of demonic beast has such powerful strength? They were also a little flustered. It shouldn't be too strong. If it was strong enough, this demonic beast wouldn't have chosen to secretly kill us. Now that all of us are here, it definitely won't dare to appear. Unless a spiritual item of heaven and earth appears. Sima Lian said. Among them, there were a few 10 stars of the Absolute Void stage. Therefore, after gathering together, they weren't that flustered. At this moment, Lin Xian said, I suggest that we remove the power of the space seal and call for reinforcements. Some people looked at Lin Xian. Why? Lin Xian then said, I just checked a few corpses. They were instantly killed. The most important thing is that it's poisonous. Poisonous? Their brows furrowed. Yes, a strong demonic beast. Since it has the power to release poison, it definitely has the ability to spread the poison. If it spreads the poison on Burial Mountain, even if its realm isn't as strong as many of us here, once it fights in the poisonous environment, it will definitely not win. Lin Xian said. Of course, they knew this. Everyone, don't worry. At this moment, Sima Yen said and then took out a few jade bottles. Before coming here, our Sima family had already thought of this possibility. This is an antidote pill. After taking it, it can cure hundreds of poisons. Come, everyone, take one. The Sima family was a sorcerer family. At the same time, they also had the ability to refine some pills. And it was very famous. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief and took the antidote pill. Lin Xian took the antidote pill and glanced at it. Not enough. Lin Xian then shook his head and said, What do you mean? Lin Xian said, This antidote pill isn't enough to cure the demonic beast's poison. In terms of medical skills and poisons, Lin Xian was simply unparalleled. The imperial physician saint technique gave him godly medical skills. He could clearly analyze whether this antidote pill could cure the poison that he had just seen. Huh? Sima Lian laughed and said, Little brother, do you know anything about poisons? Lin Xian nodded. I do. You do? How much can you know? At the very least, this old man and many of the experts here definitely know more than you do. Sima Lian then said, My Sima clan's skill in alchemy is one of the best in the entire continent. This detoxification pill can cure all the known poisons in the world that are not specially refined. Every single pill is incomparably precious. Even if it was Senior Poison Sovereign's poison, this detoxification pill can cure 80% of it. Even the poison of demonic beasts is not specially refined, So why can't it cure it? Yes, I believe in the Sima family's poison pill. Venerable Chong Yun nodded. How could they possibly believe Lin Xian's words? Other things could be judged by age, but medical skills were something that could only be reflected by age and experience. It was something that could only be accumulated over time. How could a young man in his 20s dare to boast like that? Lin Xian frowned and said, I really can't cure it. The people chuckled. I think you're scared, aren't you? Lu Tian, the young master of the Lu family, glanced at Lin Xian and mocked him. He had such a beautiful girlfriend, yet he was so timid and still boasted. What right did he have? Since you don't believe me, please remove the spatial seal. My girlfriend and I will leave, Lin Xian said. Lin Xian then tossed the antidote pill to the Sima family. Then you can leave. No. Venerable Chong Yun said, we can only remove everything in the spatial seal. Who knows if any undead escaped in just a few seconds? If you're scared, you should stay far away. Idiot. Lin Xian cursed under his breath. Chapter 1393. Actually, these people weren't too wrong. Indeed, medical skills really depended on one's experience and age. In other things, age did not necessarily mean one's strength. However, medical skills were something that could be learned year after year, from place to place. What one saw and heard would be enriched. Lin Xian looked like he was in his 20s. How could these people believe what he said? That was impossible. However, they were too absolute. They didn't take Lin Xian seriously at all. They didn't even think about what Lin Xian said. They just didn't believe Lin Xian. The Sima family was indeed a legendary family on the mainland. What they said and their research on elixirs and poisons were confirmed by these people. Therefore, when Sima Lian said that, they completely ignored Lin Xian. Lin Xian wasn't angry about this. In fact, he wasn't angry. He just wanted to leave because Lin Xian felt an extremely uneasy feeling. He knew that the poison was definitely very strong. This antidote definitely wouldn't be able to cure it. They would definitely die. Moreover, these people didn't remove the spatial seal. He couldn't leave either. How could he, a heavenly venerable, break the spatial seal formed by several great virtual realm cultivators? Go hide at the side. Lu Ran, the young master of the Lu family, glanced at Lin Xian. *CK your mother. Jealousy. How could such a cowardly person have a girlfriend of this level? With this figure, he would be invincible in martial arts clothes. Wu Yuhan frowned. She was very unhappy with what these people said. She didn't know much about poisons, but she believed in Lin Xian. Lin Xian was definitely right. At least among these people, she would definitely choose to believe in Lin Xian. Let's go. Lin Xian said to Wu Yuhan. Are we leaving? Lin Xian nodded. Then, the two of them went into the shadows and released the dark attribute to conceal themselves. They concealed themselves so that the demonic beast wouldn't discover them. Then, it would first catch them and kill them. Lin Xian. What should we do now? Lin Xian muttered to himself. There are two ways. First, I have the law of creation and the law of destruction. As long as I have enough time, I can destroy this spatial seal. But actually, their worries are reasonable. If the undead manage to slip out, as long as one escapes, the entire Liuzhou city will fall. What about the second method? Wu Yuhan asked. To refine a poison pill that can cure the poison just now, although, those people really *King pissed me off. However, they are all experts of the human race. If they die, this Yao beast and the undead here will also endanger Liuzhou city. If we act quickly, the entire continent will become a biohazard crisis, and our home will be destroyed. At the same time, the Yao race might take advantage of the situation to invade. The consequences will be unimaginable. You want to save them? Wu Yuhan asked. I don't want to, but I have to be saved. I don't have the ability to block that demonic beast, and who knows how many undead creatures there are. Moreover, if they die, if we can't escape, we will also die. I might still have a chance to get this spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. What do you think? Wu Yuhan said, "No matter what, I will support you." All right. Lin Xian then rummaged through his interspatial ring and glanced at the spiritual treasures he had accumulated over the years. Then, he searched his mind for the Imperial Physician Saint technique. There is an antidote pill that should be able to cure this poison. The grade of the spiritual treasures required isn't too high, but it's missing a spectrograss. Wait a minute. Lin Xian glanced at the location. This dark place is nourished by the spiritual treasures of heaven and earth all year round. There should be a lot of spiritual treasures of heaven and earth on this mass burial mountain. Lin Xian then said, "Let's go and look for the spectrograss." 20 minutes later, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan successfully collected 3 stalks of spectrograss. Fortunately, he had the spectrograss. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to refine the antidote pill. Should we refine it now? Wu Yuhan asked. Let's wait until they start fighting. Otherwise, we might become the target of that demon. Lin Xian said. Alright. On the other side, the group of people was still there. They were extremely nervous and cautious. Sima family head, it's been 20 minutes. There's no movement. Everyone looked at Sima Lian. Sure. Sima Lian frowned and looked in a certain direction. The spiritual treasure of heaven and earth is about to be born. Is that so? Everyone raised their heads. It was still raining heavily, but the wind suddenly became stronger. Rumble. A thunderclap was so loud that it seemed to split the sky. Sizzle sizzle. Everyone raised their heads. Previously, there were only occasional thunderclaps and flashes of lightning. At this moment, there were more and more thunderclaps in the sky. There's a heaven and earth anomaly. They raised their heads and looked at it excitedly. Whoosh, the surrounding wind grew stronger once again, and this wind seemed to be several times stronger than the original heaven and earth spiritual energy. This was definitely the birth of the spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. Putting aside the heaven and earth anomaly, the surrounding spiritual treasure of heaven and earth was rapidly increasing. It was about to be born. What a terrifying spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. I wonder what kind of spiritual treasure it is. Currently, we know that it's a lightning-attributed spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. Could it be some kind of divine lightning? Everyone, don't forget that there's still danger in the dark. Everyone became vigilant once again. At the same time, Lin Xian raised his head and looked. It's indeed a thunder-type spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. However, there should be enough time. Why? Firstly, they still had to fight with the demon clan. It would take a long time. Secondly, even if they destroyed the demon clan for some reason, and this reason might be the spiritual treasure of heaven and earth, they would still have to fight among themselves. They had to fight for the spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. As for the antidote that Lin Xian was refining, he believed that it would definitely be useful. He saw the poison very clearly. Although the poison was not strong enough to kill them in a short time, if they were poisoned and fought again, the poison would spread faster. It would definitely be useful. Little Yuhan, protect me, Lin Xian said. He believed that the demon clan would definitely not be with him at this time. It was either near that group of people or waiting for the spiritual treasure of heaven and earth to be born and then take it away. There would definitely be a battle between them. All right. Wu Yuhan nodded. Bang, then, Lin Xian slapped the Medicine King cauldron on the ground and began refining the pill. Wu Yuhan, to be honest, she knew that Lin Xian was skilled in medicine and was very powerful. However, did he really know how to refine pills? Moreover, the pills that he refined might be even stronger than the antidote that the Sima family refined. It was very exaggerated. At the same time, Wu Yuhan raised her head and looked at the void. It's out. What kind of spiritual treasure is it? Wu Yuhan looked at the hundreds of thousands of lightning bolts above the void, and the visual impact was terrifying. Chapter 1394. The dark night sky was completely illuminated by the lightning. At the same time, it attracted the attention of everyone in Liuzhou City. Even people from nearby cities saw this place. Some experts knew what was going on. They knew that a spirit item was about to be born, so they hurried over. This terrifying phenomenon, this terrifying spirit energy, it's definitely not a heaven-ranked spirit item. It must be a God-ranked spirit item. God-ranked? In the entire continent, the known God-ranked spirit items were not spirit medicines or poisons, but some kind of flame, some kind of lightning. There were no more than 5 such spirit items. Each one of them was in the hands of the most powerful existence. God-ranked, if it was a God-ranked lightning, it could at least double the lightning power of a genius thunder attribute martial artist. This was just a simple doubling. In a sense, it was more than that. Therefore, this thing could attract the experts of the entire continent to fight over it. Therefore, the people here had to ensure that the other martial artists noticed this phenomenon and came over to fight over it. Logically speaking, there was still time to make it. The fastest people to come were from Liuzhou City, and the powerful people of Liuzhou City were all here. How many people from other cities had seen it was one thing, but they definitely needed time to get here. Only space attribute experts could get here quickly, and there weren't that many space attribute experts. Especially the older generation experts, they had even fewer rare attributes. It was only in this generation that there were relatively more rare attributes. Everyone, be careful. The worldly treasure is about to be born, but be careful of that monster. That monster is either waiting beside the worldly treasure for it to release its power and snatch it away, or it is watching us. Sima Lian shouted loudly. We know. However, at this moment, most of their attention was on the heaven and earth spirit object. Before the spirit item was born, the monster could take it away, so why didn't it? There was only one reason, and that was that the monster didn't have the ability to take the spirit item away, absorb it, refine it, and make it its own. Therefore, it could only stay beside the spirit item and raise its own realm. As for heaven and earth phase, they would accumulate heaven and earth spiritual energy to a certain degree. This degree was similar to being full and would then erupt. In other words, this was the birth of a heaven and earth spirit object. The spirit item's power would reach a peak at this time, but at the same time, it was the most vulnerable time, the easiest time to absorb. Boom! At this time, in the void, where the tens of thousands of lightning gathered, all the lightning struck a certain spot on disorderly Burial Mountain. Boom! In an instant, it was like an atomic bomb, a huge force came down, causing the entire disorderly Burial Mountain to tremble. At this time, a blue light slowly rose from disorderly Burial Mountain. This blue light didn't look big, but it was more dazzling than the tens of thousands of lightning. When this power appeared, the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy reached a peak that made people excited. At the same time, everyone felt the power of the lightning rushing towards them. Their scalps went numb as they revealed shocked expressions. It's out! It's out! They were pleasantly surprised as they looked at the blue lightning. Wait! This power! Only now did they realize that this might was slightly terrifying. No. Too terrifying. Sacred level's divine lightning. This power belongs to the sacred level. Heavens! Sacred level, there's actually a sacred level. This must be a spirit item from tens of thousands of years ago. No. No, it's definitely a sacred level, but this isn't pure divine lightning, this is... Look at this lightning, it's blue on the outside, but look carefully, it's black on the inside. This is a black divine lightning. Black divine lightning, wait, there's only one type of lightning recorded in history, and that's 10,000 demonic lightning. The pupils of the experts constricted as they looked at this divine lightning that couldn't be seen clearly. They all knew about the 10,000 demonic lightning. As the more powerful experts, there was no one who didn't know about it. Lightning was divided into colors, and colors were divided into strong and weak. Purple lightning was the most powerful lightning. However, it was many years ago that the only true black lightning had appeared in the records of this continent. It was called the 10,000 demonic lightning. And what was this 10,000 demonic lightning? The power of one of the top 3 demon gods. He had the 10,000 demonic lightning. It was also the only recorded 10,000 demonic lightning. The top 3 was because of their destructive and combat strength. The 10,000 demonic lightning was known as the most destructive power among the 12 demon gods. And Lin Xian's magic eye of void was also one of the top 3 existences. It was known as the most destructive power, or rather, the strongest offensive power. These were 2 different concepts. This is actually one of the 12 demon gods, the place where the demon god with the 10,000 demonic lightning was sealed. Then, this demon, could it be? No. Sima Lian said, according to the records, the 12 demon gods are all dead. The Radiance Association sealed the terrifying powers of the 12 demon gods. 10,000 demonic lightning. Saint-level lightning. We can't take it away. They shook their heads with wry smiles. Saint-level, and it was lightning. Their strength was insufficient. Only those at the heavenly Tao realm could take it away. That might not be the case. A great void realm 10-star looked greedily at the 10,000 demonic lightning. Even the great void realm 10-star had a chance. However, at this moment, everyone's eyes focused simultaneously as they looked into the distance. Pang, pang, pang. The ground didn't tremble, but they felt like the ground was trembling along with the small shadow that was moving step by step in the darkness. No, it was not the ground that was trembling. It was their hearts that were trembling along with the shadow in the darkness. What kind of medicine is that? Wolf, tiger, lion, leopard. The appearance of this black shadow should be similar to this kind of demon beast, and this type of demon beast, as long as its rank could reach a high level, it would be very strong. They all had one thing in common, and that was extremely fast. I only hope that it doesn't have any attributes. They were most afraid of fey beasts having attributes. No, it was not attributes. It was a domain, a law. Only top fey beasts had them. The black shadow slowly approached them. As it got closer, the black lightning in the void slowly gathered on its body. It can actually use the power of the 10,000 demonic lightning? Everyone revealed looks of horror. Chapter 1395. Of course, they were shocked. 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning was an extremely terrifying saint-rank divine item of heaven and earth. It even belonged to one of the top 3 demon gods. And this was even the place where the demon god had been killed and his power sealed. However, they could not imagine that a demonic beast could use such a power. That's not right. This demonic beast can't use the full power of 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning. It can only use a trace of its power. It's not too strong. Venerable Chong Yun glanced at it and said, "That's right. It can only use a trace of its power." This demonic beast must have been cultivating and sleeping around the 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning for a long time. There's a trace of connection between it and the 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning. It's reasonable for it to be able to use a trace of its power after so many years. Boom! In an instant, the terrifying black demonic lightning was accompanied by a furious roar as it blasted towards the group of people. At that moment, they could sense the demonic beast's cultivation level. 8th level of the Great Void stage. That's right. It was only at the 8th level of the Great Void stage. When they sensed the demonic beast's cultivation level, they heaved a sigh of relief. An 8-star Great Void stage demonic beast was not strong in their eyes. Their cultivation level was there. Among the 100 people, there were dozens of Great Void stage cultivators. There were even 5 10-stars Great Void stage cultivators. There were no less than 28, 9, and 10 stars Great Void stage cultivators. Why would they be worried when facing an 8-star Great Void stage demonic beast with such a lineup? With 100 laws and 100 domains, why would they be afraid of an 8-star Great Void stage demonic beast? Everyone, dodge. Don't defend. The 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning can instantly devour any defensive power. Hua Yunfei shouted loudly. That was right. Perhaps this was the only thing they had to worry about. The 10,000 bolts of demonic lightning were similar to the dark flame that Lin Xian had obtained. It could directly break through defenses. This way, they could maximize their attack power. Whoosh! In the next instant, all of them dodged. With their cultivation level being at least at the heavenly venerable realm, it was too easy for them to dodge a single attack. Boom! The entire burial mountain suddenly shook. Lin Xian, who was sitting there and burning his flames to refine pills, jumped. Wu Yuhan's beautiful eyes looked to the other side. It doesn't seem too strong, she murmured. Lin Xian opened his eyes and said, "It's not that simple. A demonic beast of this level already has the intelligence of an adult. It clearly saw and discovered the existence of these cultivators and knew their cultivation like the back of its hand. However, it still dared to appear. This means that it must have the confidence to kill everyone. But what if he can't bear to see the natural Fae being snatched away?" Wu Yuhan asked. "This heaven and earth spirit object has probably been here for at least 1,000 years, and it has probably been here for at least 100 years. Although it is easier to absorb and refine a heaven and earth spirit object when it is born, the power of a heaven and earth spirit object will not be low. Instead, it will be at its peak. It has been here for 100 years, but it has not absorbed and refined this heaven and earth spirit object for itself. This proves that it absolutely does not have the ability to refine it when it is born. I'm sure this demonic beast knows this as well." Then, Lin Xian continued, "If you can't refine it, you'll have to guard this place in vain. Do you think that's possible? Unless it's really a stupid demonic beast." "That's true." Wu Yuhan nodded. "I wonder what kind of demonic beast it is." Demonic beasts are also divided into ranks. Although we have joined forces to kill a level 8 Great Void Realm demonic beast, that's really nothing in this continent. Lin Xian, tell me, is a Heavenly Dao Realm demonic beast comparable to the Heavenly Dao Realm Linglong Shui? A normal 99% demonic beast was incomparable to Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui alone could fight 1,000 demonic beasts. On the other side, when the dust settled, a gigantic crater appeared in front of everyone. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. To be honest, this might was definitely not the demonic beast's strongest strength. However, this destructive power was definitely not something they, a level 10 Great Void Realm demonic beast, could compare with. This demonic beast possessed extremely powerful destructive power. They knew that they absolutely could not compete with it in terms of strength. They had to use their wits to win. Everyone, prepare for battle. Let's finish off this demonic beast first. As for the remaining 10,000 demonic lightning bolts, we will discuss it later. How about that? Sima Lian said. The so-called discussion was actually something everyone knew in their hearts. After finishing off this demonic beast, how were they going to discuss the rest of the matter? There was no room for discussion. Strength was the absolute truth. But now, every faction and family could only take one step at a time. Now, the most important thing was to finish off the demonic beast in front of them. As for the rest, they would see. At this moment, the demonic beast broke through the darkness and completely appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Previously, the demonic beast was walking towards them in the darkness. When it condensed the demonic lightning, it was very far away. With the poor lighting and the heavy rain, the demonic lightning's light had obscured it. Therefore, they could only see the demonic beast's full appearance now. When they saw the demonic beast clearly, the pupils of the experts who recognized the demonic beast suddenly constricted. Demon-eyed fiend tiger. Some of them shouted out. At first glance, this demonic beast didn't seem to have anything special about it. It wasn't very big either. Its entire body, excluding its tail, was about 5 meters long. Its entire body was black, so black that it gave off a feeling that it was even darker than the darkness of the night. Its entire body was covered in strange, demonic blood-red patterns. Then, there were its 4 strong limbs. The thing that left the deepest impression on people was definitely the third eye on its head. Just like Erlang Shen, its third eye was currently closed. It was also because of this third eye that it was called the demon-eyed fiend tiger. Actually, even if you didn't recognize this demonic beast, when you saw the appearance of this demon-eyed fiend tiger, based on your experience, you would definitely know that this was definitely not a weak demonic beast. Not good. It's actually the demon-eyed fiend tiger. This isn't good. It's fine. Luckily, this demon-eyed fiend tiger's cultivation is only at the 8 stars of the absolute void stage. If it was at the 10 stars of the absolute void stage, then I'm afraid that we wouldn't be able to escape. But it's only at the 8 stars, it's fine. It can fight. But it can use the power of 10,000 demonic lightning. That's not a problem. Although the destructive power of this kind of power is terrifying, with our strength, as long as we are 120% vigilant, we can dodge it. We have more people. We have more laws and more domains, so we are much stronger than it. However, what makes me a little puzzled is this demon-eyed fiend tiger poisonous? Sima Yen frowned as he said this. Chapter 1396. The evil-eyed devil tiger was an extremely rare demonic beast on the continent. The rarer something was, the more valuable it was. The more you had, the worse your bloodline was. Generally speaking, if your bloodline and talent were strong, then your ability to reproduce would be especially bad. Just look at the other top races and you'll understand. This wasn't just a possibility, it was a certainty. What kind of existence was the evil-eyed devil tiger? If dragons, phoenixes, and heavenly foxes were compared to divine beasts, then there were some fierce beasts in ancient times. The evil-eyed devil tiger was the threshold of fierce beasts. Those that surpassed the evil-eyed devil tiger were ancient fierce beasts. The evil-eyed devil tiger was the gatekeeper of this threshold. If it was slightly stronger, the evil-eyed devil tiger would be an ancient fierce beast. Therefore, there was no need to doubt its ability and combat strength. However, their advantage was that many of them had a higher cultivation level than the evil-eyed devil tiger. As for battle power, in a 1v1, no one dared to say that they could win against the evil-eyed devil tiger. How was the evil-eyed devil tiger powerful? Firstly, it had the ability to possess laws and domains. Secondly, it was an existence that was close to ancient fierce beasts. Its battle power was extraordinary. Thirdly, once its eye opened, its power was very strong. However, they also felt that they could fight. But didn't that person say that it was poisonous? The evil-eyed devil tiger didn't have poison. The evil-eyed devil tiger doesn't have poison. The ancient records say that the evil-eyed devil tiger isn't a poisonous creature. For an existence of this level, if it has poison, then it's too scary. But that young man just said that it's poisonous. Humph. You believe the words of a kid? He even said that my Sima family's antidote can't cure it. Don't bother about this clown. Everyone fight. Alright. Shwa shwa shwa. Then, over 100 people surrounded the evil-eyed devil tiger. Activate your laws and domains. The best way for them to fight the evil-eyed devil tiger was to directly use their laws and domains. They must not hide it and directly catch it off guard. This way they could win relatively easily. On the other side, Lin Xian was still refining pills. Lin Xian, that demonic beast, seems to have the power to trigger the divine lightning above. Wu Yuhan looked at Lin Xian. That's normal. After all, we've been together for so long. It's normal for it to have such an ability. But since it didn't absorb the divine lightning, it proves that it can only affect a trace of its power. But Lin Xian opened his eyes and raised his head to look at the black demonic lightning. What lightning is black? Wu Yuhan shook her head. I don't know. I've never heard of it. Lin Xian had never heard of it before, but he could feel that the power of this lightning was extremely strong. I'm afraid that the grade of this lightning has surpassed the divine rank, or at least 8 stars of the divine level. Is it possible that he's at the sage level? Wu Yuhan revealed a shocked expression. The possibility isn't high. After all, as far as I know, there aren't many sacred level divine objects of heaven and earth. Lin Xian said. I wonder how the battle is going over there. They can't win. No matter what kind of demon beast it is, they can't win. However, their strength is not weak. It shouldn't be a problem for them to hold on for a period of time. The damage shouldn't be too great. Wu Yuhan said, won't they run away? Lin Xian said, yes. If they can't win, they'll definitely run away. However, at least not for a short period of time. This divine lightning is too tempting for them. Who would want to leave just like that? Moreover, if they leave just like that, the warriors who discovered this phenomenon from other places will rush over. At that time, the competition between them will be even greater. They won't turn back until they hit the wall. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, I have to hurry up and refine it. It'll be useful after all. Time passed slowly. Half an hour passed, then an hour. The battle was still ongoing. All kinds of flames and lightning powers bombarded the area. The entire burial mountain was in chaos. Puff! Venerable Chong Yun spat out a mouthful of blood and staggered backward. The entire battlefield had been razed to the ground. Black smoke was rising everywhere. Several corpses were lying there, and dozens of people were injured to some extent. However, the devil-eyed devil tiger was not injured at all. The devil-eyed devil tiger really lives up to its name. An 8-star Great Void Stage devil-eyed devil tiger is almost unscathed among more than 100 of our nomological laws, domains, and powerhouses. Sima Lian could not help but exclaim. However, they had basically seen through its strength. Since he dared to say that, it proved that he was confident. Now, to them, the devil-eyed devil tiger did not have any trump cards left. Its evil eye had also opened. It was the power released by the evil eye that had injured Venerable Chong Yun, who was at the 10-star Great Void Stage. It was about time. Moreover, the devil-eyed devil tiger did not reveal any poison. It's not that our nomological laws and domains are useless. It's just that after the devil-eyed devil tiger opened its evil eye, its strength is too strong. It can use the terrifying destructive power released by the evil eye to instantly break free and shatter all of our nomological laws and domains. However, that's all it can do. Even if it's a battle of attrition, the devil-eyed devil tiger will be exhausted to death by us. An 8-star Great Void Stage devil-eyed devil tiger had fought more than 100 powerhouses, and it had actually killed a few and injured dozens. There was no need to doubt how strong it was. Venerable Chong Yun felt that it was fortunate that the Sima family had brought all of these people from Liuzhou City. Otherwise, they would have to leave their lives here. Fight. Continue to exhaust it and be careful of its third eye. After another half an hour, Lin Xian had finally refined the poison pill. On the other side, the number of people had not decreased by much. They had been fighting very vigilantly to exhaust the devil-eyed devil tiger's strength. Roar! A furious roar resounded, and the devil-eyed devil tiger charged towards Sima Lian. Sima Lian did not have time to dodge, so he released all of his strength and slashed with his sword. It did not attract 10,000 bolts of evil lightning, so since it could not dodge, it could only fight. Although it might be slightly injured, it was still better than being instantly killed, right? Hiss! The devil-eyed devil tiger's claws tore his sleeve and left a long gash on his arm. However, Sima Lian was fine. This kind of small injury was practically negligible. Healing formation. Sima Lian stomped his foot, and a formation condensed, and the healing energy quickly healed his wound. However, pooh! Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Moreover, the blood was black. Patriarch Sima. Everyone revealed shocked expressions when they saw this scene. Wasn't it just an injury to his arm? What was going on? It's poisonous. Sima Lian's pupils constricted. The devil-eyed devil tiger had never revealed its poison before, but now, he had been poisoned. After that, he directly consumed the antidote pill. However, pooh! Another mouthful of black blood sprayed out. The poison could not be cured. Chapter 1397. Of course, this poison would not kill him in a short period of time. After all, he was also a great void stage 10-star. How could he die so easily? However, if he could not cure this poison, he would definitely die. Moreover, the combat strength of a poisoned great void stage 10-star was simply too weak. Moreover, he had to stop and circulate his spirit power to neutralize the poison. If he continued to fight, the speed at which he was poisoned to death might increase by dozens of times. However, what he did not expect was that this antidote pill really could not cure this poison. Father! Sima Yan quickly rushed to Sima Lian's side. Sima family head, what's going on? Hua Yunfei asked with a frown. This poison can't be cured. Sima Lian circulated his spirit power and said, What? Your family's antidote pill can't cure the poison? They all had shocked expressions on their faces. Sima Lian was also stunned. In other words, what that young man said was true? Venerable Chong Yun said with a frown. We should have listened to him. It was only now that they said such words. They would not turn back until they hit the wall. However, they had already hit the wall. It was too late to turn back now. Then now. It's fine, Lu family head said. It's just poison. As long as you're not injured, you'll be fine. Sima family head, when can you cure the poison? Sima Lian opened his eyes and said, It can't be cured. I have to develop an antidote pill. Then, Sima family head, rest first. Leave the rest to us. Lu family head said. He didn't want everyone to be afraid of him just because of this small matter. If that happened, he would have no chance of obtaining the heaven and earth spiritual item. However, at this moment, plop, the few heavenly venerables at the edge suddenly knelt on the ground. Their faces were black, and they were in extreme pain. Puff, in the next instant, they all spat out a mouthful of black blood. What? Everyone's pupils suddenly constricted when they saw this scene. Poison? How did you get poisoned? Venerable Chong Yun roared. Puff, a heavenly venerable spat out blood and then pointed around. Only then did everyone look around. Then, they were completely shocked. The poisonous gas was spreading towards them from all directions. Wherever it went, all the plants withered and died from the poison. They quickly huddled together subconsciously, shrinking into a small circle as they looked at the poisonous fog that was creeping towards them. Evil-eyed devil tiger. Everyone stared at the demon-eyed devil tiger that was already standing in the middle of the poisonous fog. Only then did they understand. From the very beginning, they had been fighting the evil-eyed devil tiger in a war of attrition. They had thought that it was the right thing to do. However, it was only at this moment that they realized that from the very beginning, the demon-eyed devil tiger had been planning to beat them at their own game. It also knew that it was unrealistic for it to kill all of them with its own strength, so, therefore, from the very beginning, it had been secretly gathering the poisonous fog and letting it spread throughout the entire burial mountain. It wanted to borrow the power of the poisonous fog to poison them all to death. From the very beginning, this clever devil-eyed devil tiger had no intention of using its absolute strength to kill them bit by bit. Damn it! What do we do now? The Qin family head frowned. There's no other way. We can only use the spatial attribute to leave this place temporarily. Otherwise, we will all be poisoned to death here. Actually, they didn't need to worry at all. However, who knew that the Sima family's antidote pill would be ineffective, so they could only run. All right. In the next moment, a spatial martial artist directly released his spatial attribute power. Everyone was prepared to appear in another location, however. They didn't move from their original positions. What's going on? Zhao family head, why aren't you releasing it? The Zhao family head swallowed a mouthful of saliva, then his pupils constricted as he looked at the demon-eyed devil tiger in front of him. I released it, but it's useless. What? Let me do it. Then, another strong martial artist released his spatial attribute, causing him to stagger backwards. It wasn't that he was injured, but he felt that his life was going to end here. His mind instantly went blank. What's going on? Why is it like this? Everyone raised their heads to look at the 3 eyes of the demon-eyed devil tiger that were emitting a red light within the poisonous fog. At this moment, they all swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They had thought that the demon-eyed devil tiger was an idiot, but in reality, they were the idiots. From the very beginning, this demon-eyed devil tiger had been playing a bigger game of chess than them. When fighting with them, it had secretly released the poisonous fog from afar. Then, it had secretly used some unknown ability and method to seal their spatial energy, or perhaps it had sealed the entire space. From the very beginning, they had all fallen into this chessboard. They had all become small chess pieces. At this moment, when they looked at the demon-eyed devil tiger again, they could feel just how terrifying it was. The poisonous fog was quickly spreading, and when the poison had completely filled the area, there was only one ending for all of them. Either they would be poisoned to death, or they would be easily killed by the demon-eyed devil tiger without even being able to struggle. This demon-eyed devil tiger was also very smart. It knew that these people would definitely die, so it didn't even come out of the poisonous fog, and didn't even attack them at this time. It wanted to wait for these people to be completely poisoned before making its move. When you looked at it like this, you would feel that over 100 people were all strong martial artists, but they couldn't even compare to a demonic beast's wisdom. Actually, it wasn't a problem of wisdom, it was purely a problem of mentality. When a demonic beast faced an enemy, for example, this demon-eyed devil tiger, it could only do this to kill everyone. And because these experts had more people, they might have many methods, and they might also feel that there was no problem with them. There was another crucial point. They didn't expect the poison, and they didn't expect that the demon-eyed devil tiger would release the spatial energy from where. They knew that the demon-eyed devil tiger didn't have spatial energy, so there was no poison. Then, where did it come from? Wait. It's a law or a domain. This spatial seal is definitely the demon-eyed devil tiger's law or domain power. What about the poison? Poison. It's very likely that this demon-eyed devil tiger had once absorbed a powerful poison from heaven and earth, or it could be said that this poisonous fog had been set up in Burial Mountain a long, long time ago. Damn it! Those people gritted their teeth. If only we had listened to that young man back then. Venerable Chong Yun gripped the sword in his hand tightly. Everyone knew, but no one believed it back then. What should they do now? There was no other way. They could only let the poisonous fog corrode their area and then be poisoned. They tried to break free, but they couldn't. Chapter 1398. The evil-eyed devil tiger stood in the poisonous fog, as if it was a king looking at a group of ants slowly waiting for death. It was as if these experts were all idiots in its eyes. In fact, these people also felt that they were idiots. Release your power, block the poisonous fog. All right. In the next moment, the experts released their power, isolating the poisonous fog. Their power could easily isolate the poisonous fog, but they were just struggling at death's door. Patriarch Zhao, try to see if you can break through the seal of space and leave Mass Burial Mountain. Let me try again. From wanting to kill the evil-eyed devil tiger and take the heaven and earth spirit treasure to now, they only wanted to live. No. No way. They had released their strongest power, but they were unable to break through the seal of space. No, to be precise, this was not a seal of space, but it was a similar power. We're finished. Unless we fight it to the death. We have to get rid of it in a short time. That's not realistic. We didn't hold back before, but now, if we fight it in the poisonous fog, we'll definitely die. Then what do we do? Are we just going to watch and wait for death? Boom! The evil-eyed devil tiger released a strong power to attack the defensive power they released. The poisonous fog could not enter, but it could continuously attack. In the end, these people would not be able to block it first. Time slowly passed. They had no other way. As for the demon-eyed devil tiger, after bombarding for a while, it let out a roar. The demon-eyed devil tiger above it once again drew in a powerful force. We're finished. Everyone's pupils shrank when they saw this. We're finished. We're completely finished. 10,000 evil lightning bolts had the ability to destroy defensive power. They knew that when this power attacked, their defensive power would be completely destroyed, and at the same time, they would be poisoned, and then, they would die. Patriarch Sima, you've killed us. Those people gritted their teeth and stared at Sima Lian. If he wasn't so confident, they wouldn't have believed it. Sima Yen said angrily, "Everyone, now is not the time to talk about this? Didn't you all believe in my Sima family's antidote pill? If we knew, we would have listened to that young man. He should have been poisoned to death by now." Sigh. Those people heaved a long sigh. Boom! A terrifying force directly blasted over. In an instant, the defensive barrier shattered. Poof! Everyone spurted out a mouthful of blood. In the next instant, the poisonous fog enveloped them all. Poof! The toxicity of the poison was extremely strong. Their faces turned black and they began to sit there and circulate their spirit energy to resist the poison. But what was the use? They were dead for sure. The evil-eyed devil tiger stood in the distance, condensed a terrifying power, and then attacked them. Sky Wasteland Bell. Boom! A huge golden bell covered them inside, resisting this powerful force. However, this could only prolong their feeble existence. 10 minutes later, boom! That spirit artifact was directly shattered. Shua, the devil-eyed devil tiger's figure disappeared from where it stood, turning into a streak of bloody light as it charged towards them. Chi-ah! There was a blood-curdling scream. Then, a warrior on the edge had his neck torn apart in an instant. He screamed and died. Those people opened their eyes. "Everyone, let's fight to the death. Otherwise, we'll definitely die." "All right." Everyone stood up. Boom! The battle was about to erupt. 5 minutes later, plop, plop. One by one, figures knelt on the ground, black blood flowing from the corners of their mouths. They kept fighting while poisoned, which only made the poison flow faster. Now, if they did not have a way to detoxify it, they would definitely die. Some were completely sprawled on the ground, twitching all over. One had to know that this was a group of powerhouses. If they could do it again, they would definitely choose to give up on their greed and not come here. Or rather, listen to Lin Xian's words. However, there was no chance to do it again. The evil-eyed devil tiger charged over and swiped its claw onto the body of a 5th-level void stage expert, and then it stepped onto the expert's back. It was like a king that looked down upon everyone, and then it roared as if it was announcing its victory. Crack! It exerted force under its foot, and the great void stage powerhouse was directly crushed. Now, it could do whatever it wanted without any scruples. These people had been poisoned deeply enough. Foolish humans. The devil-eyed devil tiger spoke human language. It was over. Poof. Black blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. The poison was about to invade their internal organs. Boom. A wave of energy blasted into the crowd, and they were directly sent flying. It was completely over. However, at this moment, a flame in the distance directly charged toward the devil-eyed devil tiger. Perhaps the devil-eyed devil tiger had also let down its guard. After all, so many powerhouses that could threaten it had all been reduced to such a state, and they were all at its mercy. Boom! The flame was red and black. That's right. Flames of darkness. This flame steadily blasted the devil-eyed devil tiger's body from the side, and directly blasted it away. It rolled on the ground very, very far away. The powerful flames of darkness, in addition to the law of creation, and the doubling of strength, although there was a difference in realm, this move definitely caused quite a bit of damage to the devil-eyed devil tiger. Swish, swish, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan's figures landed in front of the crowd. It's him. Everyone looked at Lin Xian with a shocked expression. What shocked them the most was that he was standing in the poisonous fog, but why was he not affected at all? Could it be that the poisonous fog had no effect on him? Of course, after taking the antidote pill, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan had already ignored the power of the poison. Lin Xian glanced at those people behind him. Those who want the antidote, give me something in exchange. Lin Xian grinned at them, revealing 2 rows of white teeth. What? You can cure the poison? Still, they showed a shocked expression. Otherwise, how could I just stand in the poisonous fog like this? They looked at Lin Xian and saw that there were no traces of poison at all. The devil-eyed devil tiger got up from the ground, and then it took a step back. It did not attack immediately. I'll exchange. Sima Lian stood up, took out a sword, and threw it to Lin Xian. This is a heaven-level spirit weapon. Lin Xian chuckled and tossed the sword back to him. A heaven-level spirit weapon in exchange for your life? Do you think that's enough? Sima Lian gritted his teeth. Divine spirit weapon, immortal sword Tai. Then, he threw a sword to Lin Xian. Lin Xian held the divine spirit weapon. To be honest, Lin Xian did not have a divine spirit weapon on him yet. Then, Lin Xian threw more than 10 antidote pills to the Sima family members. Originally, he thought that everyone would give him something before he could save them, but after thinking about it, there was not enough time. In the next moment, the Sima family members quickly consumed the antidote pills. Chapter 1399. Once the antidote entered their bodies, they immediately felt a warm current flowing into every part of their bodies. The pain in their bodies quickly returned to normal. They could not help but reveal shocked expressions. Even the Sima family's antidote was useless. Where did this brat get the antidote from? He actually managed to cure the poison? Divine weapons were rare and there were not many of them in the entire continent. However, compared to their own lives and the lives of more than 10 people from their families, divine weapons were nothing. The most important thing now was to survive. What about you guys? Lin Xian glanced at the others. Exchange. The family heads all took out precious items to exchange for the antidote in Lin Xian's hands. The demon-eyed devil tiger had been pacing back and forth in the distance. It was very vigilant, especially after being hit by Lin Xian's dark flame. It had indeed suffered quite a bit of damage. However, it suddenly realized that something was not right. These people's auras were actually recovering quickly. In other words, these people's poison had been cured? No way. The demon-eyed devil tiger had very high intelligence. It knew that if these people were immune to its poison and recovered, it would be very dangerous. Roar. In the next moment, it roared angrily and its blood-red eyes fell on Lin Xian. Shua, with a flash of blood, it charged directly at Lin Xian. Hurry and protect me. If I die, your antidote will be gone too. Lin Xian shouted. Everyone. Shua. In the next moment, dozens of strong people who were still wrapped in poison risked their lives and rushed forward to block this terrifying attack. Wu Yuhan opened her small mouth. Shameless bastard. Lin Xian wondered how he was a shameless bastard. This was the truth, all right? At the same time, some strong people had already stood up. Everyone who has recovered, attack together. This devil-eyed devil tiger has already been drained of a lot of its physical strength and spiritual energy. It's getting anxious. Sima Lian's eyes narrowed as he shouted angrily. All right. After experiencing the despair of almost dying, they had recovered. At this time, they were not even more cowardly. Instead, they were even crazier. He was almost F*King dead just now, but now that he was back to normal, he was naturally even crazier. Then, they all rushed towards the demon-eyed devil tiger. The others hurriedly traded antidote pills with Lin Xian. Soon, the scene in front of them once again became a bit like when the battle had just begun. On the other hand, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan stood there without making a move. To be more precise, Lin Xian was very crafty. These experts had used up a lot of their physical strength and spiritual energy because they had been fighting for a long time. In addition, they had just been poisoned. They were more or less injured. If they fought another round, they would be almost done for. However, this wasn't the main point. The main point was, Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the thunderbolt. Black lightning. Lin Xian felt the powerful force rushing towards him. He had a feeling that he really needed this thing. However, this was nonsense. Which thunder attribute martial artist didn't need it? Everyone else joined the battle one by one. Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan just stood there. No one said anything because they had just been saved by Lin Xian. Moreover, they knew that these two were only heavenly venerables. It was fine if they didn't join in. Lin Xian took out his phone and contacted Murong Feng. It was already very late, but Murong Feng shouldn't be resting. What's the matter? Murong Feng asked straightforwardly. What's that sound from your side? Are you fighting? Murong Feng then heard the noise from Lin Xian's side and the roars of demonic beasts. Lin Xian replied with a grunt, Uncle Murong, there's something I'd like to ask you. Speak. What kind of thunderbolt on this continent is black? Murong Feng. He suddenly paused. Black lightning? 10,000 demonic thunderbolts? 10,000 demonic thunderbolts? Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. He felt that this name was very powerful. You found 10,000 demonic thunderbolts? Murong Feng asked in surprise. Then it should be. It's of a very high grade in Liuzhou City. Liuzhou City. Could it be that the thunderstorms in Liuzhou City all these years are because of 10,000 demonic thunderbolts? Murong Feng suddenly understood. Then he said, 10,000 demonic thunderbolts are sage-level thunderbolts. Lin Xian. Sage level. Lin Xian opened his mouth. The highest grade. Yes, and you're also very familiar with it. 10,000 demonic thunderbolts are one of the 12 demonic gods' powers. It has the ability to ignore defense and has a destructive power that surpasses purple lightning. Lin Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. Ignore defense. His current dark flames could ignore defense. If he added lightning to it, and it had a power that surpassed purple lightning, one of the 12 demonic gods' powers. He must have this thing. Okay, then I'll hang up first. Be careful. Lin Xian nodded and hung up. He looked at the 10,000 demonic thunderbolts. This is one of the 12 demonic gods' powers. Lin Xian said to Wu Yuhan. Wu Yuhan, wouldn't it be too strong? Wu Yuhan asked. Yes, but I should have no problem. Lin Xian said. Why? Because he had the system. When ordinary people absorbed the thunderbolts, other than resisting the impact of the terrifying power, they also had to have enough power to absorb the entire terrifying thunderbolt. Lin Xian should have no problem with the latter because he had refined the rainbow sacred scale. When he had awakened the space, including the thunder attribute, he had absorbed a large amount of energy. Lin Xian didn't feel that he couldn't absorb much of it. But now, with his current level, he shouldn't have to worry about the latter. What he had to worry about was the former, the terrifying thunderbolt impact. But Lin Xian had to try. At this moment, the devil-eyed devil tiger was defeated by the combined efforts of everyone. After fighting for so long, the devil-eyed devil tiger's physical strength was indeed exhausted. Quick! Kill it! Sima Lian shouted loudly. At the same time, Lin Xian's lips curled up. Amplification of the law of creation, law of destruction. Lin Xian released the law of destruction on the devil-eyed devil tiger. In the next moment, the devil-eyed devil tiger that had just gotten up fell to the ground. Lin Xian's experience points were soaring, but it was still very difficult for him to advance to the virtuality stage. Everyone revealed a puzzled expression. How did the devil-eyed devil tiger die? But no matter how it died, it was fine as long as it was dead. Phew, everyone heaved a sigh of relief and the surrounding poisonous fog dispersed. Plop. Many people collapsed to the ground and quickly recovered their physical strength and strength. At this moment, Sima Lian and the rest walked toward Lin Xian and cupped their fists at Lin Xian. Little brother, thank you very much. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid all of us would have died here. Sima Lian looked at Lin Xian and said, Yes, yes. Everyone nodded. How do you want to thank me? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Everyone was stunned. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.